Ok, perfetto. Dicevo, su ogni slide che scorreranno ci sono i diversi contatti dei ragazzi che sono stati gentili a lasciarci appunto i loro contatti personali, per cui se avete domande le potete fare innanzitutto nella chat box, eventualmente se dovessero sorgervi dopo, vorreste qualche consiglio in più, qualcosa del genere, potete tranquillamente contattarli e scrivere. Perfetto, allora io direi che possiamo cominciare. Il format, diciamo che lo facciamo in questa maniera, come abbiamo fatto anche in passato, cioè in passato, giovedì. Inizio io a fare qualche domanda e poi ovviamente tu ti puoi, nel rispondere, ti puoi ovviamente dilungare e voi ragazzi alla fine potete tranquillamente fare qualche domanda. Allora, I will start in English right now so that the course is taught in English, so for everyone to be able to understand. Let's start from the study plan. So, what about the study plan? What is cyber risk, which is a very new course at Bocconi, so many people may have doubts on it. Is it a course that is very quantitative, just like social sciences or finance, or less quantitative? Is it a course, how is it structured in the sense, for example, there are years or semesters which are heavier in terms of workload. So tell us whatever you feel about the overall study plan of the course.
Okay, so first of all, the most important thing to say about cyber risk is that it's a joint degree with Politecnico of Milano. So you will study at Bocconi and at Politecnico. The very first semester of cyber risk is at Politecnico, while the second is at Bocconi. So right now I'm in Bocconi. And the second year, the first semester is in Bocconi and the second semester is in Politecnico. So cyber risk might appear as a very technical course in which you have to do a lot of programming and stuff like that. And that's not true in the sense that, yes, especially in the first semester, it's a very technical semester in which you will learn software engineering and programming, but also from a point of view of knowing the language. Knowing how to deal with those languages, and you won't like develop softwares or you won't have to be an expert of Python. While in the second semester is more focused on the managerial part. For example, we are studying strategy, we are studying law and institutional scenarios. So it gives you the bigger picture related to cybersecurity. Cybersecurity is a topic that is growing year by year. In Italy, is still kind of weak. And in fact, Bocconi is the first university, Bocconi Politecnico are the first universities to propose a course like that. And they're in the first in the world also. So it has technical parts, but it's not that hard. It's in the sense that you must like it, but you don't have to be an expert. I did my bachelor in CLEAM, so I did not have a very high background in engineering, but I managed to do the first semester and I'm enjoying very much the second semester.
Okay, cool, thanks. So, just like many other masters at Bocconi, some of them offer majors, some specific tracks, some paths that are more specializing than others. For example, is it the case for cyber? And if so, what are the different majors probably?
Okay, it's not a kind of major, but in the second year you decide all the exams are electives, and you can decide if you want to focus on the corporate part or on finance part, or if you want to work in public administration. There's always the focus of cyber risk, but in the second year, depends on the exams that you decide to take, you will have a different path.
Okay. Yeah, sure, absolutely.
And the important thing, is that in the second year there are 4 exams. One at least have to be in Bocconi or in Politecnico, and the other 2 you can decide if you do them both in Bocconi or both at Politecnico, 2 or 2.
Okay, nice, cool. Yeah, guys, and the thing I didn't say, and I didn't actually write on the slide, but Mohamed told us is that this is a joint degree, of course, with Politecnico. I think he has made it clear. So, are there any opportunities for a double degree program or exchange program? Like, does the course still eligible for the typical like global programs that other courses at Bocconi are eligible to?
Okay, so for our year, we're the second class, and they decided to not do the exchange or double degree program. First of all, because it's already a kind of double degree. And secondly, because as I said, there are few programs in the world, so it's very hard to find exams that can be converted in Bocconi or Politecnico next year. But they were trying to work on it since a lot of university right now are doing courses. And the director last week told us that maybe there will be exchange for the new class. So I think guys, you need to keep an eye on the webpage to see if there will be exchange programs. Right now, there are no exchange programs or double degrees.
But probably in the future.
Yeah.
Sure. And this is like the most important question, especially for a new course, probably. People probably are wondering what are the areas in the job market, what are the jobs in which that I can apply to, that I can be eligible after graduating from a cyber risk master at Bocconi and Politecnico.
Okay, so actually it might seem very specific as a course, but in fact, there are a lot of opportunities that you can apply for. For example, it's not just being a CISO, which is the Chief Information Security Officer. You can also work with data. You can work as a consultant. There are a lot of consulting companies that right now are looking for consultants that are experts in cyber. But you can also work for what regards data analytics. Right now, I'm doing an internship as a data analyst intern. And there are a lot of opportunities always related to technology, in the sense that you have to like technology. We can tell you that you can do cyber risk without enjoying talking about technology, but you don't have necessarily to be a CISO or to do a job that is strictly related to cybersecurity.
Okay, thanks. Now, going back to the academic part of the course, more or less, I would probably people are wondering what are exams like at a course just like cyber risk. Also consider that it is a joint degree with Politecnico, in the sense that, for example, are there a lot of assignments, a lot of group assignments, or is it like more weight is given to final exams? And also, do you, and I think this is the question specifically tailored for your course, do you in your exams and in your courses use some specific softwares or programming languages?
Okay, so during the exam, you don't use softwares because there is not the material time to use softwares. But during the group projects, you will use them. Especially in the first semester, we used Python, SQL, but in a very basic point of view, we didn't go that deep. There are a lot of group works, especially in the second semester. And they're with the companies, because cyber risk is financed by different companies that are partnership of this course. And like in a week, you will meet a lot of people from Cisco, Vodafone, Intesa Sanpaolo, KPMG, because they will give you even assignments that you will have to do alone or with groups. So the final grade is most of the time depending so much on the group works or on the assignments and not on the exams. Particular thing is that since in the first semester you are studying at Politecnico, you will follow the rules of Politecnico in the sense that you can refuse a vote and retake the exam. So once you receive the vote, the grade, it might be not the last grade that you receive. You can retake the exam.
Okay, I didn't know this, so it's very nice compared to Bocconi in general. And
I retake different exams, and
yeah, it was a nice thing to do after a bachelor at Bocconi. It's a new thing.
Yeah.
Okay, and now like I would say the last three questions from my point of view. Then we'll leave the floor to students who are willing to ask you something more. The first is why, if you were to make the choice again, would you choose again a course like cyber risk? So, what is that you particularly like? What do you think is the strength point of your course?
Okay, the strength points are, of course, the topic in general, in the sense that cybersecurity is a very growing topic and there's a lot of work to do. As I said, in Italy, only 13% of companies are experts in, have a person that is expert in cybersecurity, and around the world that percentage don't go above the 20%. So there's a lot of work to do, and people are required to work in this field. And the course is very well structured in the sense that, yes, you have a technical part, but you also have a managerial part. You don't lose the business idea, and most of all, you meet a lot of experts. Like really, in a week, you meet also 5 or 7 experts in cybersecurity that are in the high level position of a company. So it's very stimulating in that sense. And we're not a big class in the sense that we are 50, more or less. And so in the first period of this year, we had the opportunity to meet all the students, all the class, and you create like a very group of friends in that sense. So I would recommend cyber risk, especially for these points. And moreover, since there are partners at this course, there are also more scholarship. For example, I'm one of the 3 students that received a full scholarship, a kind of merit award paid from those partners. So there's an opportunity also to receive a scholarship that is higher than other courses.
Sure, sure. Well, that's nice news, nice to know. And on the other hand, like the opposite question would be, if you were to make the choice again, this is the difficult question. Why would you not choose cyber? So what do you think could be a weakness of your course?
Okay, so first of all, you have to think about it, because you have to think if you really like work in this field or technology in general, because of course the decision must be taken before. And I thought it's not hard to, from a point of view of programming, etc. You still must like technology, and you still must like programming. So if you're not a fan of those things, you don't have to decide to attend cyber risk, to follow this master. And from a personal point of view, it was hard, like, to keep the focus on two universities, because especially in Milan, they are quite far. So it's always like 40 minutes from here to get to Politecnico, and Politecnico has a completely different organization structure. So, and there's now there are no student association that helps students in that sense. So in the first weeks, you're very lost, and at Polytechnic, and especially exams, you don't know how they will be taken. So this was kind of hard, but fortunately, we were not the first class. There was the students of last year. So we asked them all the information that they were more useful than the Polytechnic itself in that sense.
Sure, yeah, they might have been lost in their ear, probably.
Yeah.
Okay, and the last question, which is more of like your not your perspective, this is all your perspective, but what do you feel to say? How would you define your course with just one adjective, and why?
Wow. I would define intense, because you do a lot of things, in the sense that even if you don't feel it at the beginning, in the end, now it's May, and I'm talking with like people from other companies and sectors that are expert of cybersecurity, and I realized that actually I know more or less like them. I know things like them. So in these months, you will learn like real a lot without feeling it, without being so heavy, without the thing that being so heavy or studying so much, because it's a very, since as I said before, it's a very new topic that is growing. So you will learn by doing, and if you participate actively in the classes, you will learn without doing so much effort in that sense.
Okay, sure, absolutely. Okay, so thanks. Thank you for all the answers to the questions. Some of them were more related to the course, some others were not. But guys, now it is the moment. If you have any questions, I saw a lot of people entering the room. So as you can see, we're speaking of the cyber risk security course. And if you have any questions for Mohammed, you can just drop them for the next couple of minutes in the chat, and he will be more than happy to answer them. Otherwise, of course, you can contact him later, but for now, it might be useful for everyone if you wanted to share the questions, if you have any. I'm keeping track of the, okay, there is one question. So, could you tell us something about the selection process? If you have already, I might have missed it. Francesco, I don't know if you mean about the overall selection process or for the selection process of cyber risk, which previously was different. Now I know at least is, okay, the specific one. Momo, do you want to answer this?
Okay, so I don't know if this year is changing, but last year it was a separate admission process in which you had to attach your CV and your and a cover letter, and they were considered separately. For example, I did the classic admission process for management, finance, etc., and I did this one for cyber risk. I don't know if this year they are combined or not.
Yes, yes. Actually, I'm not informed on the topic as well. Anyway, we can absolutely follow up with you on the topic. You can text any one of us, either me, Antonino, or Ludovica, and we can give you more specific information. Because as far as I know, the process might have changed and might have been made more similar or parallel to the one for other masters at Bocconi. But right now, I'm not that informed on the topic. Are there any other questions on the course?
Okay.
Seems like there is no other question. In this case, okay, in this case, we can move on. Thank you, Mohammed. Really, it's been like very kind of you to spend a little bit of your time and to share your experience. So thank you very much. Guys, if you want to know something more, you can easily text him either on Instagram, Facebook, or WhatsApp. And we'll move on to the next speaker. So thank you very much.
Thank you. Bye.
Bye. Okay, now we have Caterina Fabbri.
Yes, hello guys. I don't know, can you hear me well?
Yes, absolutely. I think we can.
Amazing.
Of course, if anyone has any problem that cannot hear us or hear me or Caterina or any one of the speaker, just drop a comment on the chat. I'm like keeping track of it as well. So Caterina, you can introduce yourself, so I don't have to do so, and then we can start.
Great, okay. Hello everybody, nice to meet you. I'm Caterina and I'm doing the second year of the Master in Data Science and Business Analytics with the track of Business Analytics, and I will tell you much about it later. And I did the bachelor here at Bocconi in Economics and Social Sciences.
Okay, thank you very much. So I think we can start, and we'll start following the same path and the same questions we have had with Mohammed for the cyber risk course, starting from the study plan. So what are the topics that are discussed at a course like data science? How is it? What type of subjects do you study, not in specific, but in general, or however? And how is the structure of the 2 years? For example, if there are some semesters which are heavier than others, which are more focused on a topic instead of another. So you can just give an overview of your course in this question.
Okay, perfect, thank you. So, okay, first of all, what is data science? Data science, for those who doesn't know, it's a huge discipline that cares about analyzing a big amount of data that the companies nowadays have, and with the programming tools, being able to take decision and to do prediction. So the course, it's not a management course, it's a course in statistics. It's the only one that we have here at Bocconi that is in statistics. And it has a lot of different subjects. I can say that is like a lot of quantitative, since I'm seeing a lot of statistics, programming in an advanced way, and also like some courses of computer science. You can decide among two different tracks, and they are really different between each other. So the first one is data science, and the second is business analytics, of course. The first semester is the same for all of the students, and it's more like basic in the sense that since all the students come from different backgrounds, this semester is important to have the same knowledge among all the students. So there is like a course in statistics, a big one in programming, where it's used like Python, SQL, and other like database system. And then after the first semester, like students decide among the two tracks. The track in data science is more theoretical one. There is much more math and not so much about like practical stuff. Instead, the business analytics is much more practical and is not so like mathematical heavy. What else I would say? So yes, there is a lot of like quantitative stuff and a lot of programming. So if you like those, I think you will enjoy it.
Okay, thanks, Caterina. I think you have also answered the second question that I would have made, about the majors and the tracks, the different possibilities we have.
So I can add something about it.
Yeah, absolutely. Otherwise, I can move on, but absolutely add anything you want.
Okay, so basically in the second semester, among the two tracks, there are like two courses for all of the students that are marketing analytics and machine learning. Instead, the other two courses are specific for the track chosen by the student. And then there are two other courses that are like mandatory for each track. And then there are two electives that can be chosen between the other track. So for instance, I choose the business analytics track, but then I took the two electives from data science track, and I also attended another one from data science as well. So you can, for instance, you can decide whether to personalize more. So the decision of the track is not really strict, since there are just 4 courses into the specialization, and you can decide also to take those exams.
Okay, thank you so much again for the insight on this. So I will move on to the third question and ask you if what are the opportunities for data science business analytics students for an international experience, such as a double degree program or an exchange program, if they are aligned to the others, the opportunities for other masters, or they have a specific some specific programs, such as when it comes to cyber.
Okay, there are no double degree. Instead, there are some exchange programs that there are not that many as some other master courses. Some of them are like in the US. I wrote down here 2 from the US, 1 in Korea, 1 in Australia, and 1 in London, and 1 in Amsterdam also. So there are not that many, since like the topics are more difficult to find in business school. But since there are 2 electives that you can decide also like to take some management courses, you can also do, if you're interested in the exchange program, you can apply to a business school and just do the electives there.
Okay, cool. Thank you. Moving on to the next question. This is probably something that just as in the cyber risk course, even because also data science and business analytics, it may be a little older than cyber risk, but not that much. It's one of the newest courses at Bocconi. What are the job areas in the job market? So what are the ambition of students from data science and business analytics? Where can they work? Where do they want to work? And what are the opportunities in general available for them?
Okay, so I can tell you that now there is a lot of interest from companies to students with this background. For what concerns the sectors, you can decide almost whatever sector you would like to do, either public or private. To just name some, you can like finance or either health sector, consultancy. So since almost all the companies have a big amount of data, having skills to analyze them is something that is really needed at the moment. Just to name also some position that the students are pursuing after this master are, for instance, data scientist, data analytics, also business analytics, of course, and also some position like business intelligence. So basically position where you analyze data with programming skills, or you can also I have some friends that don't really want to do programming all day, and so they would like to work as a consultant that they have with some knowledge of data science. So also these are
Sure.
Yeah, it's really interesting as well.
And quite broad also. It's not that narrow in terms of opportunities.
Yeah, it's really broad.
Okay, and going back to the academic perspective, like out of the job market, what do you think about the courses that you take during the data science and business analytics course? Are they very focused on individual or group assignments, or more focused on the final exams? Do you use, and this question is pretty related to your course, I'm sorry, I just moved to the slide. Do you use any software or any, I don't know, programming language?
Yeah, okay. So almost in each of the course that I've taken, there is a part made of individual or group project, mostly group project. And this is in the business analytics track. Instead, in the data science track, it's mainly just the final exam and no group project at all, I would say. And for the exam that are shared between the two courses, there are either individual or group project. For what concerns the programming tools, in almost all the course that I've attended, there is a part of programming, and the software that is mainly the language that is mainly used is Python. There are also some courses that where you can use R, but it's not even mandatory to use R. If you prefer to use Python, you can use it. And also in the programming exam, there was also SQL, and instead there was another, in a course that is finance with big data, we use Solidity, that is like a language for write smart contract. So I would say that there is a lot of programming. It's like I did, and maybe not every day, but a couple of times a week for the last 2 years.
Yes, I see. I can see there are a lot of programming language and softwares you currently use and usually use, actually.
Yeah.
So on to the last part of our presentation, at least for me. I would ask 3 questions from you. The first would be, if you were to make the choice again, would you still go first for data science? And if so, why? So what do you think is the strength point of your course? Why would you choose it again?
Okay, I would choose it again because it's like super cool. You are gonna do like really interesting stuff. Like for instance, you study a course of computer vision, you can do your application that is able to recognize like movement, like symbol, and actually like being able to make the computer recognize something. So it's really, really cool. And also it's really relevant at the moment since a lot of people are interested in this world, and there are a lot of also like advancement.
Sure, thanks. And on the opposite side, what would be, if you have any, what would be the reason why you would probably think twice about making the decision? Like, what would be the weakness you found in your course, something that maybe implemented, something that you didn't like, which may, if you were to make the choice again, may have made you not choose data science?
So I would say that maybe I will think twice about Bocconi, in the sense that it's not a technical school, so the electives that offer are a few about the topics that I'm interested in. So, for instance, there were like last semester there was just one statistical elective that I was able to choose. So, like the course offer is not as like big as it is for like management or economic courses. But I think that like also the subject in the master are also really interesting, so it's not that a disadvantage.
Okay, thanks. And the last question would be, how would you define your course with one adjective, and why? Why the choice of the adjective?
Really innovative, because I mean, you will, I mean, I'm doing sorry, I'm gonna change. So innovative, but also like, I don't know if it is an adjective, but like 2 years ago, I was not able to program almost anything. Instead, now with a course of 2 years, I'm able to do a lot of stuff, and I got to know a lot in the world of data science that is made of really different subjects, and also because like the data that you can analyze as a different form. So for instance, it can be text or just a sale, or maybe like image or video. So like the techniques are really different that are used according to the situation. And with this master, I got to know a lot of them, and now I can do alone some project in all of these different areas. So that's really cool.
Yes, absolutely. I can relate. And this would have been the last question from me, at least, and for you. So first, thank you so much for answering, and thank you again for your time. Guys, I see a lot of you have entered the chat while Caterina was speaking. So if you have any question right now for Caterina and the Data Science and Business Analytics course, it is the right moment to ask them. Okay, a couple of questions have already arrived. So what were your expectations before starting, and did the course respect them?
It's really difficult to answer this question, also because like the expectation that I had after finish like bachelor in economics they were like kind of confused since like data science, it's difficult to understand what data science is without having like a knowledge, like a big knowledge of it. But in general, I would say yes, even if there have been some difficulties since it's like a new course. But also like all the professors are really available and really nice to change when you like point something out.
Okay, and so I'm gonna ask kind of these two questions together also because you partly answered in your last answer. So is some previous knowledge required or preferred somehow, we can say, and for you that you switched from economics and social sciences, if I'm not wrong, to the master, and in general for the type of knowledge that students during the bachelor have, is it very different in terms of workload?
Okay, so for what concerns the first part, they say that there's not something that you have to know before starting the master, or because also they provide you a course in Python in August, and then they start from that. So they provide some materials. Of course, in particular for me it was difficult, the programming course, since this was kind of new for me. So if you're interested, I would suggest to take something maybe during the summer, programming course in Python during the summer, like online. There are like tons of it also for free. Just to get to know better, if you like, more advancing stuff in Python. And then for the other core, for like statistics and machine learning, there are difficult courses, but they are not impossible, I would say. And also, I mean, it depends on the bachelor. Economics and social sciences is kind of intense as well, so I studied a lot also in that bachelor. It depends. If you are used to study maybe 1 or 2 years, 2 hours a day, yeah, you will study more. Also because having like a group project where you have to like write code for it, it takes time, but is not impossible. One last point, the data science track is much more like study intense than the business analytics, where the exams are like easier, but you have to like a lot of part is for the projects that I did.
Okay.
Is there something that I'm missing?
No, I don't think so. There was just the last part of the question by Francesco, which I didn't ask you before because it was not related to the previous one. What are the main companies employing data science and business analytics graduates?
Okay, so I can, for my experience, I have some friends, like many friends that are now in Amazon, but yeah, digital companies a lot. Then there are a lot of other that are working consulting. So like EY, all the big four, but also like more to name some, like Bain, McKinsey. They are like looking for this kind of profile, or also finance, some position can be quantitative analyst, for instance, also in institution as well, like European Bank. So there are a lot of opportunities, depending also of the interest of the students.
Okay, thank you. And then there was just last question from Livia, which I think it may not be necessarily like a question related to your course, because it is, what about the selection process? I think that for the data science and business analytics course, the selection process is just the same as for any other Bocconi master. I don't know if you can confirm me that.
Yes, it's the same.
Okay, so Olivia, it follows exactly the same rules. You can apply it during your okay. If there is a lot of competition.
I can speak of like rumors because I don't have, yes, I would say there is, maybe not as in finance, but there is competition. I don't know more in specific about the grade. I would say 27 and something, 28, but I'm not really sure about it.
Anyway, you're gone.
No, nothing. Sorry.
Oh, no, I was just saying, Livia, if you want to have a little bit more info about that, as I said before, I don't know, maybe you were not here, just download the calculator and you can use it to understand whether in previous years, based on the data we have, you would have entered or not, so that you can have more or less an idea of how competitive and what are the GPA on average of people applying for the course. So if there are, okay, perfect. If there are no other questions for Caterina and for the course, I would thank you. Thank you so much, Caterina, really.
Thank you.
It's been absolutely
you.
insightful and I think useful. You can still contact her because just as Mohammed, she was so kind to give us the contact details for any other questions. And I would move on to the next speaker. So thank you and have a nice evening. Bye.
You too. Bye.
I would move on to Marco Lecchi and...
Sì, Nino, sono anche io qui.
Esatto. Quindi io nel frattempo, ragazzi, lascio la slide di Marco, ma passo anche la parola come moderatore a Ludovica, vabbè, che magari qualcuno di voi conosce e se no si presenterà autonomamente. E nulla, va bene, è stato un piacere presentare con voi questi corsi, vi auguro in bocca al lupo per la vostra missione, sia che siate del secondo anno o del terzo anno e insomma qualsiasi cosa sceglierete sicuramente sarà una bella esperienza se lo farete insomma sulla base delle vostre attitudini e di ciò che vi piace. Quindi ciao ragazzi, io rimango qui.
Grazie mille Nino per questa prima parte dell'evento a nome di tutti quanti. Ok ragazzi, allora spero possiate sentirmi, in caso datemi un feedback. Possiamo iniziare, sono Ludovica Arconte, primo anno International Management e da ora svolgerò il lavoro che Antonino ha svolto fino a questo punto, quindi di moderatore dell'evento. E darei subito la parola al nostro prossimo ospite, dato che siamo anche leggermente in ritardo, recupereremo questi 8 minuti, che è Marco Lecchi. E dato che Marco frequenta marketing in italiano, anche il discorso con lui sarà in italiano. Subito dopo Marco ci sarà Salvo Cina, che invece è marketing in inglese, e dopo avremo 10 minuti di Q&A per marketing in generale, italiano o inglese che sia. Marco, sei con noi?
Ciao a tutti ragazzi. Sì, sono qua, mi vedi?
Sì, ti vedo anche.
Ok, ottimo. Ciao a tutti ragazzi, sono Marco Lecchi, come ha detto Ludovica sono in marketing management al mio primo anno, arrivo da management in italiano, quindi dal CLEAM, e niente, questo è quanto.
Perfetto, allora grazie Marco per la presentazione, partiamo subito. Quindi tu frequenti marketing in italiano, marketing management in italiano, e la prima domanda un po' più generale è se ci puoi parlare del tuo piano di studi, e quindi si tratta di un corso molto quantitativo, un corso invece qualitativo, c'è una differenza tra i semestri o tra i 2 anni? Raccontaci un po'.
Ok, allora, molto spesso si pensa che il marketing sia solamente qualitativo, quindi ci si immagina che c'è tanta teoria e a volte si assoggetta anche un po', lasciatemi il termine, alle materie fuffa, no? Che si studiano in triennale. In realtà è vero, ma ci sono, non che è fuffa, ma è vero che è molto qualitativo, ma ci sono anche delle parti quantitative perché l'approccio al marketing può anche solamente essere quantitativo. Diciamo che è un mix delle cose durante il primo anno e si hanno sia materie molto statistiche, come ad esempio è market research al secondo semestre, sia materie molto qualitative come Understanding Consumer 2, dove si cerca di capire i comportamenti dei consumatori, e poi c'è Understanding Consumer 1 che è diciamo il modulo primo gestito in maniera diversa, separata da 2 professori, che è un mix delle cose, quindi si studiano sia teorie qualitative e sia teorie più quantitative, come può essere ad esempio la conjoint analysis, che poi se volete approfondire farete nel corso.
Ok, perfetto, grazie Marco. La seconda domanda è relativa a... Rispondo subito, perdonami, ad una domanda che è arrivata in chat, che ci chiede se AFC è già stato fatto. No, non è stato fatto. AFC inizierà intorno alle 6:50 in italiano e poi in inglese e poi momento di Q&A, quindi ti aspettiamo a brevissimo. Tornando a Marco, invece, la seconda domanda che vogliamo farti è relativamente ai major, quindi nel corso che frequenti c'è la possibilità di scegliere uno specifico major o uno specifico track? Ci sono dei percorsi differenziati?
Allora, sì, è possibile scegliere un major durante il secondo anno o fare il piano libero, quindi con 4 opzionali, si decidono 4 opzionali, quindi c'è 100% personalizzazione del proprio percorso accademico, altrimenti ci sono 4 major, che sono Business Communication and Social Media, quindi più lato digital, Distribution Networks and Retailing in the Digital Era, quindi più improntato su quello che sono i canali di distribuzione, i canali di distribuzione, il retail e tutto ciò che riguarda la distribuzione. Product and Service Management, più riguardo proprio specifico su come deve essere un prodotto o un servizio, il design del prodotto o del servizio. E poi Big Data and Business Analytics, che come dice il nome è molto molto quantitativo e riguarda i Big Data, come ha detto la speaker prima, la ragazza prima, si occupa di gestire la grande mole di dati che le aziende sempre più comunemente hanno a disposizione per interpretare il mercato, prendere decisioni e fare previsioni. Poi scusami Ludo, aggiungo una cosa alla domanda precedente che riguarda il pratico e il teorico. Marketing Management è un corso molto molto pratico. C'è la teoria accanto, quindi non pensate che facendo tante cose pratiche poi la teoria ve la dimenticate, perché comunque gli esami teorici ci sono e sono anche abbastanza sostanziosi, però c'è una preponderanza pratica data dai lavori di gruppo. Durante il primo e il secondo semestre abbiamo avuto addirittura 4 se non 5 lavori di gruppo, di cui ad esempio al secondo semestre addirittura 1 pesa per il 100%. Quindi non c'è l'esame, è solamente lavoro di gruppo, una ricerca di mercato intera, è abbastanza quantitativa come ricerca, e non anticipo la prossima domanda perché so qual è, quindi vai, dopo vi spiego.
No, ecco, in realtà questa era proprio... Ci hai già anticipato la risposta ad una domanda che era quella relativa a come è strutturata la didattica. Quindi
ecco.
Se si tratta di lezioni solo frontali o tanti lavori di gruppo, come in realtà tutti quanti immaginiamo pensando ad un corso di marketing. Quindi ecco, aggiungo anche la domanda di: esiste l'applicazione di particolari software o linguaggi di programmazione?
Ok, sì, infatti è questo che volevo dire, scusami se ti ho anticipato tutto quanto.
Figurati.
Sì, si utilizza per market research appunto del lavoro di gruppo di cui vi stavo parlando, SPSS, che è un programma di IBM, che è un programma statistico. Quindi per fare ricerca di mercato si parte prima dalle basi, quindi proprio da fare le interviste in profondità ai consumatori, poi a raccogliere le risposte per i sondaggi, che probabilmente se siete in Bocconi avrete ricevuto da qualche vostro collega qualche sondaggio da fare in questo periodo, e dopodiché si fa analisi statistica sulla base dei dati che si sono raccolti con il sondaggio, ed è un misto linguaggio programmazione, nel senso che è un programma con un'interfaccia utente, quindi si può fare tutto attraverso pulsanti per renderla semplice, o altrimenti si può anche mettersi a programmare e analizzare tramite programmazione, e per ora solo questo programma si utilizza, ed è anche molto utilizzato nelle aziende, quindi può essere molto utile anche in approccio lavorativo.
Ok, perfetto, tutto chiaro. La prossima domanda riguarda la possibilità di exchange o double degree. Ora sappiamo che per tutti quanti i corsi magistrali è prevista questa possibilità. C'è un qualcosa di più particolare in marketing, o ci puoi insomma parlare un po' di quest'area?
Allora, è possibile fare entrambe le cose, ovviamente. L'exchange, se devo essere sincero, guardando un po' in giro, ci sono molte università che non hanno corsi di marketing, soprattutto in Asia. Quindi magari è un po' più difficile trovare degli slot, cioè non ci sono slot riservati solamente per marketing, mentre per altri corsi come International Management o Finance ci sono delle università che hanno gli slot riservati a, mentre per marketing no, ci sono chiaramente delle università che sono consigliate, ma perché ci sono alcuni corsi convertibili nelle altre università. Per quanto riguarda il double degree, invece si può fare a Barcellona all'ESADE, in Norvegia, alla NHH, oppure in Canada, alla Queen's, in Portogallo, alla Università Cattolica, in Germania a Mannheim, in Australia a Melbourne e in Austria a Vienna, quindi per la alla Wirtschaftsuniversität. Quindi per la maggior parte in Europa, tranne l'Australia, che ha l'University of Melbourne, e basta, mi pare, sì, e basta. Esatto, tutte in Europa.
Ok, perfetto. E la prossima domanda riguarda invece lo sbocco al mondo del lavoro. Quindi quali sono gli sbocchi tipici o sbocchi che tu hai scoperto durante insomma, questo percorso accademico?
Allora, il marketing è, come sapete, una parte dell'azienda, quindi potenzialmente potreste finire a lavorare in marketing in qualsiasi settore, in qualsiasi dimensione aziendale, e in qualsiasi azienda di qualsiasi dimensione, ecco, sia lato B2B sia lato B2C, e ci sono diversi step chiave dei processi di marketing, potete occuparli tutti, che comprendono ad esempio le aree di market analysis, quindi un approccio più quantitativo, o market strategic planning, quindi più strategico, implementation e monitoring, che invece è un lato più di controllo, di programmazione e controllo, ecco. Ci sono poi ovviamente le imprese specializzate di alcune attività di marketing, come può essere per finanza non so, può essere le banche, mentre per marketing ci sono sempre le società di consulenza, le società che si occupano di ricerca di mercato, oppure agenzie di comunicazione e agenzie media, quindi col lato più comunicazione più che la parte di analisi dei dati e di strategia e di implementazione, programmazione e previsione.
Ok, perfetto. E ora invece domanda relativa alle forze, alle debolezze del tuo corso di laurea. Quindi se tornando indietro lo risceglieresti? Se sì, perché? Se no, perché?
Allora, sì, tornando indietro risceglierei. Il corso che ho scelto, sono, diciamo, al 100% soddisfatto della mia scelta, perché secondo me è un corso molto ben strutturato, e il gran vantaggio, il gran punto di forza secondo me di marketing, in generale della Bocconi ma anche di marketing, è quello di avere dei contatti veramente incredibili con le imprese, e infatti i lavori di gruppo sono sempre in collaborazione con delle aziende, se non mi pare uno o due semplicemente non siano in collaborazione con le imprese, scusate il rumore che adesso finirà. E per farvi qualche nome, durante il primo semestre abbiamo fatto un lavoro di understanding consumer, quindi di capire una ricerca, tra virgolette, qualitativa su un brand che era Luxottica, per Persol, quindi gli occhiali da sole, mentre questo semestre abbiamo fatto un lavoro di gruppo, quello di branding, in collaborazione con Lamborghini. Quindi capite che anche a livello di nomi sono nomi molto importanti, che veramente ti rendono molto molto partecipi nei lavori di gruppo e diventano anche divertenti da fare. Quindi questo è un punto sicuramente di forza. Punti di debolezza, devo dire, non ce ne sono troppi, nel senso che secondo me è un corso molto rodato, molto liscio, e non c'è molto da dire. Se devo proprio fare il pelo nell'uovo, trovare il pelo nell'uovo, c'è un corso che secondo me a livello contenutistico è diventato un po' obsoleto, che è Channel, dove si parla di retail e di distribuzione, in cui c'è ancora qualcosina da aggiustare, soprattutto manca la parte e-commerce, che secondo me ormai è fondamentale e dovrebbe avere un approccio un po' più digitale. Però tutto questo è un po' sopperito dal fatto che esiste un corso che si chiama Strategic Marketing and Analytics, che si occupa del digital puro, ed è veramente veramente sul pezzo, perché ad esempio stiamo parlando di SEO, di SEA, di SEM, di Google Analytics, bisogna prendere obbligatoriamente una certificazione di Google Analytics, si parla di influencer marketing addirittura già, quindi veramente molto avanti come corso.
Ok, ultimissima domanda e lasciamo la parola a Salvo, è un aggettivo, un nome, insomma, un termine per indicare il tuo corso.
Allora, io direi pratico, perché veramente la preponderanza è quella di lavori di gruppo, chi è in Bocconi lo sa, sono lavori di gruppo semestrali che durano un semestre intero e è la parte veramente che vi prenderà più tempo, anche di più delle lezioni, se entrerete, se volete fare marketing, quindi sì, pratico.
Ok, perfetto, grazie mille Marco.
Grazie mille.
Ci vediamo tra una decina di minuti per il momento di Q&A, quindi ragazzi adesso parleremo con Salvo. Salvo, sei qui con noi?
Hi guys, do you hear me? Do you
Yes.
speak in English
Yes.
now?
Yes, we're going to speak in English. And okay, perfect guys. So we are going to talk with Salvo 10 minutes from now, and then there will be a Q&A with Salvo and Marco for marketing in general. So also the differences between the two courses. So if you have any questions, you can write them now in the chat or in 10 minutes. Okay, Salvo, thank you to be here with us. If you want to describe yourself in some minutes.
So thank you too. And I'm Salvatore Cina. I'm enrolled in the first year of marketing management. And before it, I attended the CLAM and nothing else. And I really like this course, but on the contrary of Marco, I have some weaknesses to say. But
okay, perfect.
Let's wait.
So we're going to talk about that. Okay, let's start with some questions. If you think that there are some things in overlap with what Mark already said, no problem. You can skip them and focus on the topics that you think are more relevant right now. So the first question is about the study plan. So do you think that it's a practical course, a theoretical one? There are more like quantitative subjects or things like that?
Okay, perfect. I don't want to repeat Marco because the structure of the Italian course and the English course are quite similar, maybe equal in some parts. And I think that it's more quantitative than you can think. For example, strategic analysis on Model 1 and 2, industry analysis and market research are quantitative subjects, but of course, marketing is more qualitative. But we can say also that you can decide how much it can be quantitative or qualitative, but in the group projects. So for example, if I have to give my personal opinion, in the projects, there will be assignments which are divided in a quantitative and a qualitative topic. Maybe you can say to one of your group to make the quantitative and you do the qualitative if you prefer that. But there are subjects like the first I mentioned, which are only quantitative. And it's way practical. And regarding the Italian education system, I would say that it's practical enough. Because in Italy, as we know, there is a lot of theory, but in marketing management in Bocconi University, there are a lot of group projects and there are a lot of works with brands, and we can use database. So I would say that it's practical enough. And regarding the format that you can put on this course, I'll say that it will depend also on the group you have, because obviously group is made of people. If there are stimulating or not good people, it will require more effort for you.
Okay, thank you so much, Salvo. So you anticipated already the second question that's about the teaching mode. So we can imagine that there are a lot of group projects. So we already know that, but if you want to go a bit deeper on the structure of the group project, and if you feel that they are useful or not.
Okay, so there are a lot of group projects. For example, in this 2 semester, I only made one partial because all the partials were replaced by group projects. And there is a lot of stress because of these group projects, and there are a lot of deadlines, also weekly deadlines. So sometimes you can, for example, you have maybe 1 week to study for a subject for the final exam, because until that moment you had to study for the group project. So if you don't like to do group projects, I wouldn't recommend marketing management, of course. But it also depends on people. It's stimulating, attractive.
Okay, thank you. The next question is about the possibility to choose a specific measure or track. And if so, if you have any suggestion or tips.
Okay, so as Marco said, there are also for marketing management in English 4 majors, which are business communication, social media, distribution network, product service management, and big data. The equal of marketing management in Italian. And these are made of electives, which are taken from a big set of electives. In fact, you can decide to not do a major and do a free track where you decide for 4 electives. I would suggest to specialize, so to choose a major. In fact, this was also one of the reasons why I decided the marketing management, my management being instead of management. I wanted to specialize more, and so I preferred market management to management, which I think that management is too general. So I like marketing, and I prefer to risk and decide this course in order to be more specialized. And I suggest this. But of course, you have to like the subject marketing.
Okay, thank you. And next question is about exchange or double degree program. So if there's the possibility also to apply for them, as I think for the marketing management in English, and if there's also the problem that Marco talked about before. So probably you have heard.
Yeah, but heard it. And so Marco said that the problem regarded the exchange programs, which there were few recommended places for market management. But I took a look at the people that made the exchange program, and sometimes market management students did not go in the recommended places, and however they made their subjects. They converted some exams. So obviously there are recommended series or for programs for marketing management, but it depends on the courses you can convert, and sometimes they change over the year. So you must be updated. Regarding the double degree, it's the same of Marcos Oesade in Barcelona, NHH in Norway, but there is maybe one more, which is, I don't know if Marco mentioned it, which is Queen's School of Business in Canada. And
yes, you mentioned it.
This, okay, perfect. And these with the University of Melbourne are the only one which are abroad Europe.
Okay, thank you, Salvo. Next question is about the possibility to work after this study plan. So do you think that, I will add a question about that, because I think that what Marco said is applied also for who study marketing management in English. Do you think that who study marketing management in English is like more preferred also outside Italy? So there are some also advantages in this sense.
Yeah, I think so. This is why I decided for the English version instead of the Italian version. And obviously, if you know a language more, maybe in a better way, you have more possibilities. So the structure of the courses between Italian and English are the same, but it's preferred to choose the English version because you have more advantages. You have more places where to go. Also, if you're not confined in Italy. If you, for example, if you start a course in English, you have a language more. For example, I was not so good at English. I was shy to talk about it. I'm not now perfect in this language, but I'm not shy anymore. And so maybe this is because this is also the reason why the grades in order to enter in this course, in the English course, are higher than the Italian one. So I do prefer the English.
Last question, and I think is the most important for you, as your introduction said. So which are the strengths and the weaknesses of marketing management in English?
So the strengths are that it's way more practical than all the other courses, and so it's nearer to the reality. So you work with brands, and sometimes also the instructions that professors give you are unclear, because the professor want you to think. So it's very practical also in the sense, and it improves also your relational and organizational skills because of all the group projects. And these are the strengths. Regarding the weaknesses, for this year, maybe it's because of COVID, but it's disorganized, the course. Sometimes the lines are not clear. The professor doesn't explain a good way the course or the assignments, and I don't know if it's always because they want us to think, but it is this, and it's way stressful. It's stressful because of the group projects, but it's a weakness, but it's normal if you decide marketing management. However, you must have organizational skills in order to succeed in a good way in this course. And another weakness regarding the English course is that the level of English is not so high for the professor. I thought that the professors talked perfect English, but it's not. It's worse than students. And maybe another weakness, maybe it's because of COVID, but this year it's not so international, the class. So we are, for example, the 80% Italians. I thought that it was more international. And these are the weaknesses.
Okay, thank you, Salvo. Last question, super fast, a name or an adjective to describe your course.
Stimulating, because only this, because all the previous things I said. Okay,
perfect. Thank you so much, Salvo. Now, Salvo and Marco can answer to your question. Marco, are you with us?
Yeah, can you hear me?
Okay, yes, we can hear you. And the first question from Sarah, she asks if you guys think that there are other differences in the master between Italian and English. So Salvo talked about that before, but if you think, guys, that there are other differences, relevant differences.
Okay, mainly I think, as Salvo said, most of the things are similar in the two different courses, because it's the same structure, you have the same subjects. There are actually, because I talked with Salvo and another friends of mine that are enrolled in marketing management in English, and they said sometimes the deadlines are different. For example, they do some group works before us, and then we have it later, but it's not the difference. And as Salvo says, the most of the courses has the same professors. So I think in Italian, they can express better and they can teach in a more clear way. While in English, of course, English, the language barriers. So sometimes I think Italian course is better in this sense.
Yeah, I agree with Marco. I think that the Italian course is easier to be more specific, but I also think that the English one is more international. So, for example, in the examples made during classes, maybe it's more about the world and not about Italy. Maybe I don't know, Marco, which were the brands for your group projects?
Mm-hmm.
Because we had Persol, Enkel, and Espresso.
Okay. Okay. See, I mean, this depends on the classes, because for the Italian course, there are 2 different classes, class 8 and 9, while the English course is class 10. And we had different brands for the group projects, but it's not because of the language, but because of the class. For example, you had an Espresso, right? Also, the class 9 had an Espresso, while we had Luxottica. So it depends on on the class, not because of the languages.
Okay, guys, thank you. Are there any questions for Marco and Salvo? Okay, Sara asks, why did you choose Bocconi?
So I can start.
Okay, as I told,
Okay, Marco, we
sorry,
are talking together.
Okay.
Go,
okay,
Marco.
Salvo.
sorry. No, Salvo.
No,
Salvo,
Marco.
you can start.
Okay, I start. So I decided Bocconi University because there is a lot of effort in this university. You will be stressed. You will be pissed off sometimes, but I think that this will help you in the future. To the fact that you have a lot of deadlines, the fact that you are evaluated in a very clear and in a clear way. I was maybe going on Europe for the master, but then I decided Bocconi because of the effort and the person I could become in the future. More organized, more practical, and so it's this.
Yeah, I totally agree with Salvo. It's a good choice. Also, marketing management is a course that Bocconi has since lots of years. So everything is well structured, is well organized. Professors are good professors, and also because of the network that Bocconi has in terms of brands that collaborates with, and as we told, we have great names and great companies that can be an opportunity also for your future after your master. You can try to apply for some positions in the firms that collaborate with Bocconi.
I like the fact that, as Marco said, sometimes marketing management was seen during the Banshul period as the master for people who don't like to study. There are easy subjects, more qualitative. It's not true. Yes, it's more qualitative, but it doesn't mean that it's easier, because qualitative and quantitative methods are concepts that you have to apply, and the application of this is the difficult part. So if you're thinking that marketing management is not worth it because it's more qualitative, you should think more according to me. This is not a problem.
Yeah, exactly.
Okay, thank you so much, guys. Next question for both of us is just a curiosity from Sarah. If you know which major you are going to choose next year.
Yeah, I will definitely choose business communication and social media, because of my attitude and my passion about social media and stuff.
Because everyone knows that Marco is a YouTuber, so.
I don't know yet for the major.
Okay.
I like to postpone things. No, I don't know, sorry.
Okay, and next question from Alberto, who asks, which are, in your opinion, the differences between the Bocconi marketing course and the other universities one abroad?
I'm not very informed, sincerely, about this topic because I was super sure that I will do it in Bocconi. So, so maybe Salvo knows better.
So there are some of my friends around Europe, but not doing the marketing course, but the international management course. But in Europe, all the courses usually are more practical. So, and maybe the last time there are different periods. So typically they are more practical, and there are also divergences in regulations. But I'm not, as Marco, I don't know it exactly.
Yeah,
Okay.
maybe one thing, just talking about university in general abroad instead, compared to the universities in Italy, is that universities abroad has a more practical approach, as Salvo told. And maybe there is a little bit less theory than Italian universities like Bocconi, so the exams are a little bit shorter, while even if we have a very practical approach and we have a lot of group projects, we still have entire exams that covers all the program and are very similar to the bachelor ones. So even if we have the stressful thing of the project, group projects, we also have the tons of page of theory to study.
Yeah, for example, if Europe students can study on papers more than slides as we do, so there are these little changes.
Okay, guys, thank you so much. I don't know that there are other questions for Marco and Salvo. If so, please write them down in the chat. Okay, no more questions. So thank you so much, Salvo and Marco.
Thank you.
Have seen, guys, their cell phones and their contacts in the slides. So you can just contact them and ask for more information also in private. So thank you so much, guys.
Yes, guys, feel free to write me.
Yeah, same. Thank you so
much.
Again. Grazie, Ludo. Ciao, ciao.
Thank you, guys.
Bye, guys.
Ciao, ciao, ciao.
Okay, guys. So we have always the same 10 minutes. We are always 10 minutes late from our schedule, but we can switch to the next one. That's Alessandro Corona from EMIT.
Hi, everyone.
Are with us?
Yeah, can you hear me?
Yes, we can hear you well.
Fantastic.
Okay, let's start immediately because, as I said, we are a bit late. So a small presentation of you, so we can know you better.
Yeah, sure. Good afternoon, everyone. I am Alessandro Corona, and probably I am the good person for explaining this Master of Science. I'm actually the course representative of EMIT, and I'm in the first year of EMIT. I come from Salerno in Campania, and that's it. So let's move on. Otherwise,
yes, let's start with the first question.
Yes.
That's about your study plan. So if you can talk about it, it's a quantitative course, a more theoretical one, and so on.
Okay, so let's say that EMIT has, I say that comparing with the other Master of Science has definitely a more practical approach. By the way, the first semester is very theoretical. Very briefly, I can say that the 5 exams that you're going to face in the first semester, I don't know whether you attended as a bachelor, but the exam about innovation and technology, yes, there is an exam very similar to that one. Then there is a law exam that explaining you how to patent an invention. an exam like microeconomics, a venture capital exam, so how to finance your startup, a technology innovation strategy course, which is with the professor is the rector, Gianmario Verona. There's a very nice course about how technology involves all the companies, and I really suggest this course. And finally, there is no, sorry, I think that I have it. So yeah, fundamental of innovation, industrial change, that explain how innovation takes place, etc. But let's say that's a mix of this. There is a more theoretical, maybe the first semester. And yeah, that's it. It's all about innovation, you know, how to receive funds, how to patent, how to compete in a very innovative market. I mean, in a very competitive and challenging market. I hope to, yeah.
Thank you so much, Ale. We can switch to the second question that is really related to the first one, and it's about the teaching mode. So are there a lot of group projects, or is more about final exam?
Yeah, there are a lot of group projects, and I mean, almost all the subjects present a group project. And even if when there are, I mean, one or two courses that are all theoretical, they are split in a testing class that are not group project, but are a practical way to learn. I mean, it's not like the bachelor. And about the group project, yeah, there are so many. For instance, the second semester, you have this compulsory exam, develop your company, that all the grade, I mean, 100% of your grade is made up of a group project. You have to build your startup, and it's a very nice course.
Okay, really interesting. Switching to the third question, that's about the possibility. So we want to ask you if there's the possibility to choose a specific measure or a specific track, so to give like a more personalized path to your study plan.
Sure. So choosing EMIT major is one of the most difficult, you know, thing that you have to do. Also because you should choose your major at the end of the first semester, so not as in marketing, as you heard before. There are four main majors. One is data analytics for managerial decision making, so you compute a lot of data. By the way, there is already an exam in the second semester that is called Data Analytics and Visualization, in which you learn how to program in RStudio and how to visualize data. Then there is a second major that maybe is the most popular for the MD students, which is, sorry, yes. Okay, can you hear me?
Yes, Ale, we can hear you well,
okay,
no problem.
Sorry. That is Technology and Innovation Management. I didn't choose this major only because it's quite related to supply chain management and operation management. So it's more related to that part that I don't really like it. The third major, maybe here I will discuss a little bit in detail because it's the major that I've chosen, is IT consulting. And then there is a major in green management and sustainability, which is one of also this very, very famous. As you can see, all the major are very related to the current problem. I mean, IT consulting speak about the digitalization, green management, and sustainability is about the environment and how to help about also circular economy. And Ludovica, let me explain one thing, that in choosing the major, you can also go for free track, means that you pick your as you prefer, but you have to choose one innovation specific exam that is listed by Bocconi, and then free exam made up of the major. I've chosen IT consulting major because I think that inside this branch of exam is the most useful for us, because it gets really inside how a firm can compete into such a changing and dynamic environment. In fact, the exam that you may follow are change management, management consulting, project management, and IT consulting itself. That is the compulsory exam of this major. And just to say, for instance, this semester I'm taking a project with a company about the digitalization of a pharmaceutical firm. So it's very, very nice.
Okay, so interesting, Ale, thank you. And next question is about a possibility to apply for an exchange or a double degree program. As the other guys said, of course, it's a possibility given to all the Master of Science students, but from you, we want to know if there are some peculiarity from EMIT that you want to suggest.
No, not a peculiarity. It's pretty hard to join double degree experience as all the Master of Science. You can join exchange as well as the other Master of Science. If you want, I can cite the double degree experience, the double degree destination.
As you want.
Yeah, okay. There is Copenhagen Business School, Moscow, Norwegian School of Economics. This one I'm reading. I mean, it's not.
Yes, guys.
You can find it on the website.
Yeah, exactly. You can find all the information on the Bocconi website, and also from our guide, Bilab Bocconi guide on Bilab website. So
yeah, only this part I'm reading because I not take it through memory. Rotterdam School of Management. This one is fantastic. It's very hard to join. I didn't get it. If you're if you're answering this. Is first worldwide for management and innovation. So it's very, 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 very. You take a lot of project. You already work in group project with other workers, because this is a master of 1 year, so you can be in class with 30 years old students, and it's very, very nice. Following Universidade Católica Portuguesa in Lisbon, and is a little hard to pronounce, but the WHO University in Vienna.
The WHO. I pronounce it W, yes. But I don't know the right pronunciation. Okay,
yeah.
Thank you so much, Ale.
You're welcome.
Yes, we can go to the next question that I'm really curious about, to be honest. That's about the work possibility after this study plan.
Sure.
Because as you said, there are different measures that you can join. So what about that?
So I think that there are two main ends when you will be an EMIT graduate, which are entrepreneurship. I don't know if you ever take the GAM, Mind the GAM. Probably yes, guys.
Yes, yeah, I know it.
Yeah, there is also a nice event, by the way, from Bilab about the CEO. The students who thought about this idea was an EMIT student. I mean, yes, entrepreneurship is definitely one end, and the other one, I think, that is consulting management. I mean, most of our students finally work with Deloitte, with Accenture, so consulting company. In fact, I'm doing the major in IT consulting because of this. It's a very dynamic approach, let's say this.
Okay, thank you, Ale. Next question is about strengths and weaknesses of your course. So which are the most important things that you are learning, but also if you can identify some problem in the organization or in other aspects?
Starting from the weakness, because guys, I really like this course, so I started from weakness. I think that the main disadvantages is that is too much theoretical. Despite is a practical course compared to Bocconi Master of Science, I think that abroad in Europe, especially in America, this kind of course it's made up of more practical exam. I give you an example. There are 2 courses of economics of business strategy that, as I said before, is about macroeconomics, advanced macroeconomics. I mean, market behavior, how firms compete, profit margin. I mean, you probably already did macroeconomics. And I think that there are 2 exams, one in the first and one in the second semester, that could be maybe resumed in only one course. Except this, I will say that nothing. About the point in favor of EMIT, the advantage is that, I mean, there are a lot of practical exam. As I said, there is develop your company that really, guys, is fantastic. You're building your startup. There are a lot of, challenges, And also in the first semester, the technology and innovation innovation strategy course. There is the name is very similar to the major one. That is taught by the rector. You learn through business case. So how Netflix is Netflix nowadays, how it defeated Blockbuster. You learn through business case, and this is amazing because in America it works like this. I mean, students learn a lot not by book. We don't have so many books. For also about laws, the first semester we study from the WIPO, World Intellectual Property Organization website. Frequent asked question. So it's a very practical approach. I mean, I need a patent. How can I do? And this is very the strengthness of it.
Okay, thank you so much, Ale. So guys, you can start write down any questions for Alessandro in our chat, or if some of you just want to switch the microphone on. And in the meanwhile, I want to ask to Alessandro the last question, super fast. If you can give us like a name or an adjective to describe your course.
Challenging.
Okay.
Very briefly.
Okay, guys.
If you want, I also can explain, but I don't know whether
we can imagine it from your introduction and your explanations why it is challenging. So
yeah, guys, do this course because it's
we are really passionate about that.
Yeah. It's beautiful.
Okay, guys, do you have any questions for Alessandro? Okay, I don't see them in chat, but as you can see in the slide, there are all the contacts, so also the cell phone, Instagram, and Facebook page. So feel free to contact Alessandro and ask information or other doubts about EMIT.
Yeah, I mean, I received like 3 or 4 messages per week about this course, so feel free to text me. I will be very happy, as I think, to show you in this moment, to answer your question and speak about EMIT.
Okay, thank you so much, Ale. Thank you again. So guys, we can go on with the, ok, parliamo in italiano perché il prossimo corso invece è un corso italiano ed è AFC con Giovanni Sinibaldi. Gio, sei con noi?
Ciao ragazzi.
Ciao
sì,
Ale, grazie
eccomi
ancora.
Qua. Ci sono, mi sentite?
Ti sentiamo forte e chiaro, grazie mille per essere
Perfetto.
qui. Chiediamo
Figurati.
a te e a tutti quanti scusa per i 10 minuti di ritardo che stiamo accumulando dall'inizio dell'evento, ancora non siamo riusciti a recuperarli, però fino a quando sono 10 riusciamo a gestirli. E niente, Gio, se vuoi parlarci un po' di te e poi iniziamo con le domande.
Va bene, allora, ciao a tutti, io sono Giovanni Sinibaldi, come giustamente immaginerete al primo anno di AFC in italiano, e vengo da una triennale in economia e finanza e niente, quindi c'è piccola presentazione, diciamo, siamo qua, quindi vai Ludo con le domande.
Perfetto, grazie mille Gio. Prima domanda circa il piano di studi di AFC, quindi ci interesserebbe sapere come è strutturato il piano di studi, che tipo di materie, di corsi stai seguendo e se c'è una maggiore preponderanza di materie quantitative o se è un corso prettamente teorico, eccetera.
Allora, diciamo che c'è una particolarità da FC rispetto alle altre magistrali che, diciamo, mentre la maggior parte, specialmente quelli in inglese, hanno tutti esami da 6 crediti e quindi si ritrovano con 5 esami al primo semestre e 5 al secondo, noi abbiamo esami che pesano parecchio di più, abbiamo 3 esami da 10 crediti, 2 da 8 e gli altri che sono da 6, quindi ci sono meno corsi, ma questo è ovviamente dovuto alla mole di studio che ogni corso richiede. Perché immagino che l'abbiate anche sentito da altre persone che lo fanno, oppure da rumors, possiamo dire che è uno dei corsi più tosti a livello di cose che devi studiare per ogni esame. Diciamo che ci sono 3 esami, quei 3 esami da 10 crediti, che sono bilancio, finanza aziendale, programmazione e controllo, che hanno un programma veramente, veramente denso, specialmente l'esame di bilancio, che è il primo con il quale vi troverete a dover lavorare. È un corso che non è assolutamente da prendere sotto gamba, perché se si arriva, diciamo, a un mese dall'esame senza averlo mai aperto, vi assicuro che è veramente difficilissimo riuscire a prenderlo. Quindi, per rispondere alla seconda parte della domanda, è un corso principalmente, possiamo dire, quantitativo. Ci sono anche alcuni esami qualitativi, ad esempio al primo semestre il corso di Corporate Governance, al secondo quello di diritto societario e tributario, ma per il resto sono comunque esami di bilancio che è fatto, ok, sì, guardando i principi, quindi abbastanza in modo qualitativo, ma ci sono ovviamente tutti gli esercizi che sono ovviamente numerici e quantitativi. Poi il corso di analisi dei dati, il corso di fair value al secondo semestre, che è probabilmente il corso più quantitativo che ci possa essere in tutta la triennale, che è un corso di valutazione d'azienda, valutazione degli intangibili. Anche questo, nonostante abbia 8 crediti, è parecchio tosto, soprattutto perché ci sono 2 parti di programma che praticamente potrebbero fare un programma a sé stante, cioè un corso a sé stante, quindi sono belli densi di informazioni e di materiale da studiare. Detto ciò, diciamo che è un piano abbastanza bilanciato, perché con il fatto che sono solamente 4 esami, specialmente nella sessione ad esempio di dicembre, si riescono a fare molto bene, c'è spazio tra gli esami, e sono solo 2 parziali, quindi anche nella sessione di ottobre non avrete troppo tempo, cioè troppi esami da preparare, quindi devo dire che è strutturato molto bene e studiando in anticipo si riescono a preparare tutti gli esami in maniera abbastanza, diciamo, abbastanza bene.
Perfetto, grazie mille Gio. Passiamo subito alla seconda domanda che è abbastanza collegata alla
Vai.
prima, quindi come è strutturata la didattica, se ci sono solo lezioni frontali o se sono previsti dei lavori di gruppo, quindi dei business project, se utilizzate anche dei software o dei linguaggi di programmazione. Ti dico già che con la prima domanda c'è un po' spaventato, quindi attento alla seconda.
Sì, no, dopo va bene, cioè dopo se ci avete domande comunque vi tranquillizzo, è che comunque chiunque, cioè nel senso, venendo a fare questo corso bisogna essere abbastanza preparati, perché il primo semestre ti stronca, come qualsiasi corso di magistrale, diciamo, ti arriva pesante addosso, quindi bisogna essere abbastanza pronti ad affrontare, soprattutto, come ho detto, l'esame di bilancio che va subito preso non sotto gamba, perché altrimenti vi arriva sulla schiena, e ve l'assicuro, testimonianza proprio. Poi se volete scrivetemi, vi spiego il perché. Comunque, dicevamo, ci sono praticamente gli esami sono quasi tutti con lezioni frontali. Sono pochi lavori di gruppo, al primo semestre ne avrete 2 e al secondo solamente 1, nel senso una sola materia con 2 lavori di gruppo. Per il resto sono lezioni abbastanza frontali. Ci sono dei software utilizzati solo nell'esame di analisi dei dati, utilizziamo R per la parte di statistica, quindi tutta la parte di regressioni multiple, regressioni multimonomiali, eccetera. Quindi quello lo imparerete ad usare parecchio bene. E per il resto sono tutti esami, non ci sono praticamente in nessun corso, ci sono libri, quindi non è che sono tomi da studiare, però sono comunque lezioni frontali, ed è molto importante, secondo me, seguire le lezioni, perché altrimenti, col fatto che non c'è un libro per la maggior parte dei corsi, vi ritrovate con delle slide che sono incomplete senza la spiegazione dei professori, quindi diciamo che è molto importante seguire la parte di lezioni frontali.
Ok, perfetto. Prossima domanda relativa invece a, cioè ti chiediamo se c'è la possibilità di scegliere dei major o dei track, quindi di personalizzare il percorso accademico.
Certo.
E se sì, quando?
Allora, i major si scelgono al secondo anno, quindi a luglio, immagino, quando ci sarà da fare l'ammissione, ancora la data non ci è stata detta, si sceglie il proprio piano di studi del secondo anno, che come tutte le magistrali è composto di 4 esami, più ovviamente lo stage curricolare obbligatorio. I percorsi sono 4 più il free track. Quindi non volendo seguire questi percorsi si può tranquillamente prendere il piano libero che prevede un piano strutturato da voi, che però deve ovviamente essere approvato dal direttore del corso, quindi ci deve essere una certa coerenza con quello che stiamo studiando in AFC. Comunque gli altri major sono amministrazione e sistemi amministrativi, finanza aziendale, pianificazione, controllo di gestione e revisione aziendale. Diciamo che i più gettonati in generale sono quelli di finanza aziendale, gestione finanziaria e di pianificazione e controllo di gestione. Sugli altri ci sono corsi molto specifici, quindi sono major che sono scelti da persone a cui piace davvero, cioè fare revisione aziendale, diciamo, è un qualcosa a cui dovete essere portati. Quindi per il resto comunque sono molto interessanti. I major hanno abbastanza libertà al loro interno, non hanno dei corsi predefiniti, dovrete scegliere tra esami presi da una lista che però è abbastanza ampia, quindi avete, anche non facendo il piano libero, c'è abbastanza libertà di scelta per il secondo anno.
Ok, perfetto, grazie Gio. Prossima domanda invece è sulla possibilità di applicare per exchange o double degree, nel senso che, come abbiamo già detto con tutti gli altri ragazzi, è chiaramente una possibilità che è data a tutti gli studenti di magistrale, qualsiasi sia il corso specifico, però da te vogliamo sapere se è consigliato, se è una prassi diffusa tra gli studenti di AFC, se ci sono delle buone università partner con cui fare questi scambi, eccetera.
Allora, ovviamente per fare l'exchange c'è la possibilità, come tutti gli altri studenti, quindi al secondo anno, nel momento in cui volete fare l'exchange, potete tranquillamente fare domanda, però quasi sicuramente il direttore vi dirà che dovete scegliere il piano libero, perché molti professori che diciamo fanno i loro corsi in bocconi sulla parte di FC non sono esattamente contenti che voi li convertiate dall'estero. Quindi se volete fare l'exchange, mettete in mente che probabilmente dovrete fare piano libero, che non significa che non fate quei corsi che fareste anche in bocconi, ma che non vi verranno approvati e quindi non uscirete con un major in finanza aziendale, possiamo dire. Il direttore è abbastanza chiaro su questo. Sull'exchange si va quasi sempre in piano libero. Per il double degree invece ci sono 4 possibilità, 4 università. Devo dire che rispetto agli altri corsi abbiamo abbastanza posti in meno, perché in totale abbiamo l'Università Cattolica Portuguesa di Lisbona, 2 posti solamente, poi ci sono 4 posti a Mannheim, 2 posti a Rotterdam e 2 posti a San Gallo, mi sembra. Adesso non vorrei dire una cavolata, ma sono questi i posti. Ovviamente quando andate all'estero raramente vi ritroverete a studiare corsi, cioè in un major che fa AFC, perché è un corso prettamente italiano. Se andate ad esempio a Lisbona sarà un major in finance, se andate a San Gallo è un major in economics, quindi San Gallo è un'università che diciamo si concentra su questo, quindi sarete più sul percorso, non voglio dire però comunque economics, e anche a Mannheim e a Rotterdam sarete su un percorso finance. Ovviamente alla fine gli esami sono abbastanza simili, quindi non c'è da preoccuparsi. Diciamo, sono molto buone queste università, quindi è sicuramente consigliato fare application. Come ho già detto, però, essendo pochi posti, diciamo, la selezione è abbastanza competitiva, non c'è molto spazio per essere ammessi ai double degree. Sull'exchange invece ovviamente dipende dalla media che avete, quindi su quello sicuramente si può fare domanda.
Perfetto. Prossima domanda è, immaginiamo un po' la risposta dai major che ci hai citato, però se puoi andare un po' più nel dettaglio, quali sono i tipici sbocchi lavorativi di un laureato FC?
Allora, devo dire che questa probabilmente è la parte più bella di questo corso, perché un laureato AFC può veramente andare a lavorare dappertutto, cioè in ogni azienda, in ogni società di consulenza, in ogni banca, in qualsiasi cosa richiederanno un qualcuno che lavori nella funzione AFC, perché specialmente ad esempio se fate controllo di gestione, qualsiasi entità che diciamo svolga un lavoro economico ha bisogno del suo controller che pianifichi e gestisca il tutto, quindi gli sbocchi sono abbastanza ampi. Comunque in generale se si prende il major in finanza aziendale o si va a fare la parte AFC dell'impresa, quindi per ipotizzare il ruolo massimo si va a fare il CFO, ovviamente si lavora sotto il CFO con il major in finanza aziendale, oppure sono tante le persone che dopo aver fatto una magistrali in AFC vanno a lavorare comunque in banca di investimento tranquillamente, quindi anche se magari pensate non voglio fare finance perché è troppo, diciamo, troppo quantitativa, non mi voglio mettere in quel mondo, comunque avete la possibilità di entrare in banca di investimento anche tranquillamente con una laurea di AFC. Le società di consulenza richiedono tantissimo i laureati AFC, sia per la parte di revisione aziendale che la parte di consulenza strategica, e tutte le aziende, come dicevamo, possono richiedere un laureato AFC. Un altro possibile sbocco è quello di fare la professione del dottore commercialista, quindi se avete questa aspirazione, CLEVI o AFC sono i corsi principalmente indicati per fare questa professione.
Perfetto, super chiaro. Prossima domanda su forze e debolezze del tuo corso, e quindi se tornassi indietro, potendo diciamo ripetere questa scelta, se la confermeresti o meno.
Allora, forze sicuramente che vi dà una base di conoscenze e di, diciamo, capacità applicative veramente forte, perché comunque in tutti i corsi i professori sono davvero bravi e vanno al fondo delle cose, quindi non sono corsi introduttori, anche perché molte cose sono date per scontate, ovviamente, dato che voi arrivate a una magistrale in AFC. Molti concetti della finanza aziendale eccetera sono dati per scontati, quindi sono corsi molto specifici e vi danno una preparazione molto ampia. Detto questo, come ho già detto prima, i corsi sono veramente tosti, quindi dovete essere pronti a sopportare dei carichi di studio abbastanza ampi, e gli esami purtroppo quest'anno, io lo devo dire, abbiamo avuto un pochino di problemi dati dalla forma online, perché purtroppo questo è un corso che non si adatta ad essere, diciamo, impartito online dal punto di vista degli esami, perché in tutti gli esami avreste bisogno comunque di scrivere, di fare le formule, eccetera, che quindi in un esame a crocette magari non si traduce bene, e ha portato un po' di problemi quest'anno, ma secondo me dal prossimo anno, se riusciamo a tornare in presenza, sicuramente non ci saranno questi problemi. E quindi in generale io sicuramente rifarei la scelta, devo dire, mi sono trovato molto bene e ero un po' incerto all'inizio, ma penso che sia stata la scelta giusta per me, e quindi lo consiglio a tutte le persone che comunque sono interessate all'ambito, ma anche se non avete le idee esattamente chiare, è una laurea che vi permette davvero di andare a lavorare ovunque, quindi cioè, se non sapete esattamente il vostro percorso di studi, ve la consiglio per questo. Ovviamente dovete essere pronti a un carico di studi, come ho già detto, bello tosto.
Perfetto, Gio. Ultima domanda super fast, se ci dai un nome o un aggettivo, insomma un termine per descrivere il tuo percorso di studi.
Beh, non lo so, che è pesante l'ho già detto abbastanza volte, però
no, guarda,
devo dire...
non so se è chiarissimo.
No, è chiarissimo. Comunque devo dire un aggettivo sicuramente completo. Come ho già detto, è un corso che vi forma veramente a 360 gradi, quindi è sicuramente un corso completo.
Va bene, grazie mille Gio, sei stato veramente molto molto chiaro. Adesso ragazzi vi ricordo che parleremo con Marco Rubbo di AFC in inglese, e tra una decina di minuti massimo avremo la possibilità di fare domande sia a Giovanni sia a Marco, anche ed eventualmente sul confronto tra i due corsi. Quindi grazie mille Gio.
Ciao a tutti.
Marco, sei con noi?
Yes, I'm here. Good evening everyone.
Thank you so much, Marco, to be here. So guys, we are going to switch in English, so talk in English, because Marco is attending AFC, but in English. So yes. Marco, if you want to introduce yourself and tell us something about you.
Yeah, very briefly, I'm Marco Rubbo, 22 years old. I'm attending the first year AFC in English, and I attended the CLAM course in the undergraduate, and so I think that's it.
Yeah, thank you so much. So we are going to start asking to Marco the same questions we already asked to Giovanni. So Marco, feel free to skip some parts if you think that are the same of what Giovanni already said, and to focus on the differences or the things that you think are more relevant for your course. So the first question is about the study plan. So if you think, what about the AFC in English study plan? So it's a really quantitative course, a theoretical one. There are some differences between the 2 years or the semesters and so on.
Yeah, my answer will be very similar to Giovanni's answer before. Yeah, the study plan is quite balanced. No, it's balanced and symmetric. I mean, we have 4 courses and exams in the first semester, 4 courses and exam in the second semester. As Giovanni suggested before, we have these 3 big exams and 3 big courses, the 3 pillars of the EFC, which are quite tough and not very easy to study. More technical and quantitative subjects, even if it's not only quantitative. We have some courses that are more in which there is more theory. This is for the first year, and then the second year, maybe we will focus more later on this point. We have the three or not the four majors or the free tracks, and that's it. But the peculiarities are the same for the English and Italian courses.
Okay. Before asking to Marco the second question, I want to give a really small off topic, because Marco is also the president of Unimento, right?
Thank you.
Yeah, and also because we organized this event together, we can say, and what we are doing is quite similar what Marco does with his association. So if you want just to explain to the guys that are connected what Unimento does, and then we can continue with our questions.
That's very kind from you, Ludo. We are basically an organization, not non-profit at the moment, and what we're doing is basically what we're doing now. So we are we offer some video calls, some meetings individually to help to support the students, especially in the choice of the university and the field of study that they are going to practice.
Also outside from Bocconi, right?
Outside from Bocconi, yeah. Okay. We have some guys from Bocconi, so we can help even you guys in this choice between the undergrad and the graduate school, or even if you are I don't know, some brothers or sisters that need to choose their path of studies in the future. We can help you. We can help your friends and your.
Okay, thank you, Michael. We can now go to the second question. Sorry for the off topic, guys, but I think it was really, really interesting also for you. So the second question is about the teaching mode. So I want to ask you if there are group projects, or as Giovanni said, there are some, but in the end, the final exam is the most important part of the grade.
For sure, the final exam is the most important part of the grade at the end. But to be honest, I did at the beginning of the year, I didn't expect so many work projects. If I'm not wrong, Giovanni before mentioned 2 work projects.
In the first semester and 1 in the second one.
Exactly. In my experience in the English course, we had 3 group projects in the first semester, and yet another one for another courses, but there are like 3 assignments. So even in this semester, we have 3 group projects, let's say. Of course, not all of them are mandatory. So you can basically choose if do it or not. Maybe if you don't do it, the group project, you maybe do the final exam as non-attending students, or maybe you cannot gain extra bonuses, points, and that's it. But yeah, basically I didn't expect this group project. Anyway, the teaching mode is basically more quantitative and technical. So the final exam is related to more technical aspects.
Okay.
And the group project have not this weight.
Okay. Next question is about the possibility to apply for an exchange or double degree. So as I said also with Joe, we know that there's this possibility for all the students from every master in Bocconi. But if you want to give us some peculiarities for AFC in English.
Well, as Giovanni said before, the double degree is quite tough to get in, because we have 4 choices. 4 destinations: Mannheim, Lisbon, and Rotterdam, and St. Gallen. But the slots available are very few, and also it combined the 3 classes, so the 2 classes in Italian and the 1 in English. So basically there are 10, 12, 14 slots for 300 people. The exchange program is basically equal to the other Master of Science, so you can try to apply for it. Even here, there are slots, but to make an example, maybe there are only a couple of destinations that are reserved for AFC. So let's say that historically the trend is that most of the AFC students prefer to stay here in Bocconi, even because the offers of the Bocconi University in this course is very, very high. And maybe outside Bocconi, you cannot find the same courses and the same quality of teaching as here.
Okay, thank you, Marco. So the next question I think is the most interesting one because it's about the application of this course. So what about the work possibilities after this study plan? And if you think that in this way, there's a difference with the course in Italian. So if you think that you guys that are studying English, you have like more possibilities to apply for also international companies, or if you think that is quite the same.
Well, yeah, the differences is maybe that you are supposed to know better the English and to be better prepared to apply your English language in the work and the job. So in terms of terminology and all the stuff. Anyway, overall, the job market, I think, is looking for these profiles because maybe an advantage that we have is that we can combine, let's say like this, we can combine a strategic perspective with a financial perspective. Just to make an example, I'm sorry for my finance colleagues, for my finance friends, but if you go on the job gate and you search for and you look for a finance position, the finance positions are under the filter of accounting, financial management, and control. This because we have a better choice, a better range of option in terms of the job market. As Giovanni said before, it's true that some of us can work in investment banks. I have friends that are working and will work in investment banks, consulting firms, auditing firms. You can do the analyst, you can do the accountant. So from this point of view, I think that AFC is a high quality course because you can perform and you can be prepared to a big range of options in terms of jobs.
Okay, super clear, Marco, thank you. So next question is about the strength and the weaknesses that you can identify in your course. So talk about that, and what do you think? You would choose this course?
Yeah, because the strength point, as I said, like 1 minute ago, I think that is this sort of combination. So the fact that we can combine the strategic businesses, this perspective with the financial one, and that's why I chose at the beginning this course, and I will re-choose this course. Talking about the weaknesses, I don't know. This is a very abnormal, a very strange year. So maybe the interaction with the professors were not so good. Maybe the teaching mode, so the distance mode, make it feel like more difficult. I don't know. It's a very tough and complicated course. Of course, sometimes it's not enough the amount of study that you do. Sometimes you have to be prepared in using some instruments, some tools, Excel or other software, Studio or Tableau that we used for an assignment like a couple of days ago. So maybe this should be a weakness. Yeah.
Okay, thank you, Marco. So guys, you can write down all the questions that you have in the chat. And in the meanwhile, I want to ask to Marco the last question that's about a name or an adjective to describe your course. So Giovanni said complete. Also that heavy. What do you think about
just
that?
one. Yeah, I think yeah, I'm repeating all the time this thing, but I don't know. I see this course as a combination, of these two aspects. So maybe this word should be combination.
Ok, perfect, I think. Giovanni, sei con noi? I hope so. I don't know.
Ci sono, eccomi, scusate.
Ok, perfetto, figurati. Ok, ragazzi, ora possiamo rispondere alle domande che sono per Giovanni e per Marco, quindi leggerò la domanda in inglese o in italiano e poi uno dei due può rispondere. Allora, the first question is out of cap of what we already said, because we already talked about group works, but R want to know if there are group projects and if there are some differences in AFC in English or in Italian. So I remember that Giovanni said just 2 group projects in the first semester and 1 in the second one, and Marco said 1 more in the first semester. I don't know, guys, if you want to add something about that.
Yeah, please, Giovanni, go ahead.
Yeah, there are some slight differences in between the group projects. Because like in the corporate finance group project, in AFC English, they do it the first part of the semester. Am I right, Marco?
No, in the second.
In the second part, but yeah. I mean, the topics are different because in the AFC Italian second part of the semester, you will have Professor De Laurentiis, who is, we can say, a guru of the credit part of the corporate finance. So the group project will be on a, let's say, a stress test of an industry, of some corporation. You will not know what corporation it is. And so you will do a stress test on its debt. Whereas in AFC English, for a corporate finance group project, you have to do an IPO, right?
Yeah, basically an equity valuation of a company.
Yeah, so they're slightly different, but apart from that, I think the other projects are the same, and they have one more.
Then we had the financial reporting one and the corporate governance. But as I said before, the financial management and the corporate governance group project were not mandatory in the sense that
they're compulsory. They're come si dice?
Not mandatory.
Optional. Optional.
So you can choose to do it or not, and if you choose to do it, it should be part of the final grade. If not, no. And
I mean, the corporate governance one is a big part of the final grade. You get like 16 points, whereas the corporate finance one is just 2 extra points. So I mean, it's not compulsory to do them.
Okay, I think it's quite clear, guys. So we can go to the next question from Nicola, who asks if it's hard to get in AFC from an Italian university that is not Bocconi, and what is the GPA necessary to get in. We do not have any experience in that, but guys, Giovanni or Marco, if you know your friends that come from different universities and you want to explain a bit about that.
Yeah, I have some people in my course who came from different universities, but I mean, we cannot have any score, like actual score, because some people do the GMAT, some people do the Bocconi test, and it depends everything depends on the test, I think, because I mean, the GPA should not be really high, but like if you have a really low GPA and you score good in the test, maybe you can get in. But I don't think we have any information on this. I mean, Bocconi is really hard to get on this topic. Like, they never release any exam information or like average GPAs.
Yeah, I think anyway, it's not the easiest Master of Science to get in, even because for us internal like Bocconi students, the GPA required is quite high. Not so high, but even not low, let's say. But yeah, as Giovanni said.
Yeah, it's about, I think it was last year, it was about 28.4.3 for AFC English and 27.4 for AFC in Italian. Usually it's a little lower for AFC in Italian, but I mean, last year was, different because of COVID. So the GPAs are not really meaningful.
Okay, guys, I want just to add a thing, because from students from Bocconi University, we do not have information also on this side, because Bocconi does not give any kind of disclosure on that. But as B-Lab, every year we make a survey and we ask students, as Giovanni, Marco, or just myself, to just to give some data, the GPA and the master, where they get in and so on. And so at the end, we structure like all the information, and we try to understand which is the lowest GPA to get in the course. Of course, there are not official information, but it can be quite useful just to give an idea. So if you want to find this file, it's on our website, B-Lab website, just to give this information. We can go to the other question that's only for Marco, I think. And Valeria is asking, what do you think about professors in AFC in English? And this is only for Marco. And the second one is for both of you guys, because she's asking why should she choose the English course and not the Italian one?
If I'm not wrong, Valeria is the girl that asked this question in peer-to-peer group Facebook. Like, I don't remember if today, in this morning, or yesterday. Anyway, what do you think about professor in AFC Eng? It depends, Valeria. It depends from professor to professor. Some are very good, are very prepared, are very fluent in English, and this is a plus of the course. Others are not, let's say, well prepared or so good in English, and I think it's even difficult for the international students to follow them. And we had some troubles with some professors in these 2 semesters because of that. So it's a question hard to answer. Because it depends by the professors. Anyway, yeah, I don't know if you, Giovanni.
If I can jump in just a little second, like the main reason I chose AFC Italian over English was really the one Marco just mentioned. Like, all the people I knew from AFC English from the previous year told me that they had like real difficulties to follow some professors, like some main professor, because of the way they speak in English. But I think this has changed in this year, because some professors have changed, and so there are not so many professors that cannot speak English properly. But so like in the previous year, many people from AFC English used to come to AFC Italian to follow some courses because professors were not good to talk in English. But I mean, I think in the following years, this will change, because Bocconi is requiring like higher, certification for professors. So it should change in the following years.
Okay, Marco, do you want to add something on it? Or we can go to the next question.
I don't know if Valeria is satisfied with my answer. The fact is that it really depends. As I said before, we have some professors very, 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 very good, and some other no comment.
Okay, so Valeria, let us know, and we can go a bit deeper if you want, also in private, because it's
if you want the names, Valeria, just text me and.
Okay, so Margherita is asking another question. I would prefer to like speak in English, because probably there can be also guys or non-Italian speakers. And Margherita is asking which are the differences and why AFC should be preferred to the Management Master of Science, because you guys described the IFC like a really complete and a generic course, that's probably management could appear like that also. So why, in your opinion, AFC could be a bit better, or why a person should make this decision?
If I may, it is not to be better or not, is that AFC has the financial perspective that management doesn't have. As I said before, this question is it's interesting because at the beginning, when I applied, I was between AFC and management, and I choose AFC for this reason, because as I said before, it can combine the financial perspective with the business perspective, and management is basically all strategic, all business. But if you know how to manage data, if you know how to look at data, FC is completed from this is complete from this point of view.
Yeah.
Okay, guys.
Yeah, I totally agree with Marco. So like the financial part of ASC is something you don't get in management. And I mean, you can do management like bachelor and then an AFC master, and I think you will be more complete in terms of skills needed for a future job.
Okay, super clear, guys. Okay, guys, if you have other questions for Giovanni or Marco, you can write them in the chat. Anyway, you know that here in the slides, you can see the contacts. So Marco and Giovanni cell phones and Instagram and Facebook profile. So feel free to write them if you have any other questions, or if you want just to talk in private about this choice.
Hope we helped, guys.
Yes, guys, you were really super clear and I think really helpful. So,
maybe there is another question, Ludo.
C'è un'altra domanda, sì.
Oh.
Yes, he's asking which are the exams that are more business related.
Joe?
I would say, I mean, the come si chiama PC da voi, Marco?
Performance measurement and control systems.
Yeah, performance measurement and control systems probably is the one that covers business, because in the first part you just do managerial accounting, in the second part you do strategy, so probably that's the one that covers the business the most. And then you have, of course, like societary law,
business law, tax law,
business law,
corporate governance,
right, corporate governance. So there are some courses that cover this part.
Okay, thank you. And Valeria is asking another question, if she can know which were your 5 preferences. I think in
are there not 4?
My memory is very, very bad. Don't remember. Yeah. Don't remember at all.
I think there were 4, like when I applied, but maybe this year there are 5.
Anyway, if for me, were AFC English, Italian, and then maybe Management English and Management Italian. Don't remember.
Yeah.
Okay.
For me, I think it was chance. I didn't get in. Then AFC Italian, AFC English.
Okay, thank you, guys. Okay, I think we have answered to all the questions that were a lot for you guys. So I think it was meaning that you were really helpful for everyone. So thank you so much. And here again are the contacts. So feel free to text them.
Yeah, feel free to text us for anything.
Yes, exactly.
Thank you again, guys.
Thank you.
And
bye-bye.
Good evening.
You too.
Okay, guys, so now we can switch to Mari Carmen. Mari, are you with us?
Can you hear me?
Yes, we can hear you well. Sorry, Mari, because we are late, but there were a lot of questions for Marco and Giovanni. So we're going to start now with your Master of Science. But if you want to introduce yourself, tell us something about you.
Okay, perfect. Hi, everyone. I'm Mari Carmen, and I'm following the second year of GIO, so Management and Economics of Government in International Organization.
Thank you, Mari, to be here with us. And let's start with the first question that's about your study plan. So what do you think about GIO study plan? It's a more theoretical or more quantitative Master of Science, and if there are any differences in between the semesters or between the 2 years?
Okay, so as you can understand from the name, it's more focused on the public sector, and unlike all the other like master courses in Bocconi, mainly the first semester of the first year is a little bit more easy with respect to the others. In fact, you have just one exam that counts for 9 credits, and all the rest of the 3 are just 6 credits. On the other side, in the second semester of the first year, you have 2 exams that counts for 9 credits, and one for 8 credits, and another one for 6 credits. So it's a little bit more heavy in terms of studying, and also in terms of material. There is like a lot to do the second semester with respect to the first one. It's focused on the public sector, as I said before. So both the first and the second semester will be mainly on understanding how the private sector, how the public sector is managed, what is the policy cycle, what are the main features of policy making and policy evaluation, and obviously you will also have an exam about law, and mainly administrative law. In the second year of the master course, you have the opportunity to decide in which specific area of the public world you want to define better your studies. And in fact, we have measures, and we can talk about it later. So I would say that it's a pretty qualitative type of studying. It's more theoretical than quantitative. We have a quantitative exam in the first semester of the first year. It's quantitative methods for social sciences, but it's nothing like too heavy, and it's basic statistics and some econometrics models, but very, very like super basic, nothing to be scared about. And also in the second semester, you have an accounting course, but it's not so strong as the AFC courses. It's much more theoretical. Also, that one you will be able to understand how accounting is managed in the different public organizations. So how it is managed in the international organization, how it is with local or national government, and so on. So it's more a theoretical approach.
Okay, thank you, Mari. The second question is quite related with this first one, and it's about the teaching mode. So we want to ask you if there are some group projects and if there are a lot or some only for like some subjects, or if the final exam has the most important weight in the final grade.
Well, it depends on the course, but many courses have like group assignment or individual assignment or opportunities by which you can you are able to construct your grade, let's say during the semester. In the first semester of the first year, you will have 3 group assignments, so over like 4 courses, so they are a lot. And also in the second semester, you will have 3 group assignments that cover public accounting, macroeconomics, and it depends on what you choose. Like there are 2 different courses that you have to choose, like as an optional, so like as electives at the beginning of the second semester, and they both have like or an individual assignment or a group project, as it happens for most of the courses in Bocconi. They count from 30% to 40% of the final grade. So mainly what I can say is that there is always like something to do during the semester in order to come up for the 100% grade. It has happened, like in my experience, just 1 or maybe 2 courses that had like a full final exam, and that's it.
Okay, thank you, Mari. The third question is about the possibility to choose a major or a track, so the possibility to personalize your study plan.
Yes. Okay. So as I have anticipated before, you have a choice to be made at the beginning of the second semester. It's not so strict, like you have to choose between two different courses, one that focused on relationship between business and government, and another course that focused mainly on management of international organization, in order to choose your major in the second year. In the second year, you have 4 majors. One is focused on international organization. The other one is focused on public management. The third one, which is new, it has been introduced, I guess, my year, because the previous one was on NGOs management. And nowadays it turns to be in sustainability, which takes both it's more based on environmental sustainability, but it has also some courses which are focused more on social sustainability. And the fourth one is the major in healthcare. So it covers the healthcare sector and the pharma sector, which are really like super in contact with the public environment, let's say. And so that's it. And also you have the free track. The director is not always like super open to let you choose the free track if you don't have like a true motive that can be exchange or double degree. If you plan to stay in Bocconi, what they told us is like, if you plan to stay in Bocconi to do all your second year here in Bocconi, we would like you to pick up a major.
Okay.
But I think it's more or less the same for all other master courses.
Yes, it makes sense, totally. And next question is about the possibility to apply for an exchange or double degree program. As we said also with the other guys, of course, this possibility is given to all Master of Science students. But in this case, we would like to ask you if there are some particular, for example, double degree for GIO, and if you suggest the exchange experience to these guys.
Okay. So you have the possibility to do your exchange. There are like several schools that accept GIO students, and there are several schools that like run public policy courses or public management courses. So I would not say that I have found like difficulties in finding the perfect school for me for your exchange and to convert like exams. And also on the other side of the coin, you have the possibility to do all your full second year abroad. There are 4 main schools for doing your double degree: the Sciences Po in Paris, the SUNY in Albany, in America, and the Hertie School in Germany, which is based in Berlin, and another school, which is the School of Public Administration in São Paulo, Brazil. As long as I remember, for the spot side, there are like 8 to 10 spots in Sciences Po, so this is the major like double degree program. The Hertie School has 2 spots, and also the SUNY, and I guess 2 spots also for São Paulo in Brazil. I saw many of my colleagues that went for the double degree programs, and they are very happy about it. Obviously, they will not be graduating in Bocconi with a major. They chose the free track in order to convert all the exams. And I would say that if you have the possibility to do it, also because we are in the public atmosphere and the public sector, it's very, very useful to go abroad and see how the public sector works in different countries, and you have opportunities also to meet like international organization and have a better understanding of how like this sphere, this sector is perceived outside Italy.
Okay, thank you, Mari. And next question is about which are the work possibilities after GIO. So we have understood something from the measures that you said before, but if you can go a bit deeper in that, so what a GIO graduated in general does after the degree?
Well, obviously, the first thing that comes up to everybody's mind is that a GIO graduate student is an expert in public management. So you can take both the side of public management, so work directly in local or national government or organization. You can start working in NGOs, so no government organization, no non-profit organization, or even international organization. But also from what concerns the private side of the world, there are a lot of opportunities, because there are a lot of businesses that have inside their business like a division that has to take care of relationship with government, and you can be part of this sector. And also you can proceed your career in the research field. There are many students that have decided, like also my colleague, to pursue like a PhD, so continue studying after the GIO courses, and other careers which are a little bit more difficult, but it's a path that it's also like chosen by some students, is to follow like the diplomatic career after. So it's a little bit more difficult, but it's also it is also a possibility. What I generally say is that, and what I really like about GIO is that it doesn't close the door neither from the public nor for the private. Like you can still work in the private even if you have focused your study on public management, because there are like a lot of peculiarities that you need to know in order to work in the private sector, in order to manage like relationship in the right way with the private agencies.
Okay, thank you so much, Mari. And the next question is about the strengths and the weaknesses you can find in your course in terms of personal experience, in terms of organization, whatever you want.
Well, I wasn't happy about my choice in the first semester, but then I found my path. It's the general thing that I say. It may seem a little bit too theoretical, too broad, too generic, like in the first semester. This is the impression that like my class had, and also speaking with other friends of mine, this is the general idea that we had in the first semester of GIO. Then as you proceed and then you start learning like step by step other parts of this world, you will learn that like it is a course that offers a lot of possibility, and it's not so general. Like you will go into the specific, you just need to keep patient. You need to be patient. From the weaknesses point, I would say that maybe for some aspects, like professors need to go more in depth, and what happens generally is that there is like overlapping of arguments across different courses. So this is something that we have talked about with our directors, and they are trying to fix it. And I can see like the difference during this year with respect to the stories that were told me about like during the past years. So it's something that it is fixed, like it has been fixed during the years.
Okay, thank you so much, Mari. So guys, feel free to ask any questions in chat for Mari Carmen. And in the meanwhile, I want to ask you the last question, that if you can like give us a name or an adjective to describe GIO.
Oh my gosh. Well, I would say colorful. It's full of joy. No, the trans means full of joy, because you have like you're dealing with you're dealing with the public. You want to do good. You want to make the world better in a way. So I would say colorful.
Okay, perfect. Thank you so much, Mari. So guys, do you have any questions? Okay, there's one from Joele. Joele is asking, is GIO more economic than PPA? Is it more quantitative? So I think that it's a really common question. So which are the differences between GIO and the PPA Master of Science?
Yeah, I mean, what I generally say is that the GIO course, it's more focused on the management side. So you will have to work on a lot of theoretical stuff, while PPA, it's a little bit more quantitative. So you really go in deep about policy evaluation tools and how the policy is evaluated. In the GIO course, like you will have like course about policy making and policy evaluation, but it's on the surface. You will be more focused on the policy making process rather than policy evaluation. So what I generally say is that, like, yes, GIO is for management, more theoretical, PPA is more for like economic side.
Okay, thank you so much. And another question from Vittorio is about the work possibilities in consulting firms for a GIO. A lot.
Despite what you may think, like there are a lot of opportunities. All the like the big four, or also the Holy Trinity works with public agencies and government, and they have specific focuses on those kinds of consultancy path. And also for the degree that I'm following, which is in life science and healthcare, there are a lot of opportunities there too, because you will understand, like, even though like the pharma sectors or the healthcare sectors appears as something private, it's not that private. Like, you need to do a lot of institutional work, and there are a lot of opportunities that search for specific profiles that had like a deep understanding of the institutional framework. So I wouldn't worry about like opportunities in consultancy. If you want to do consultancy for the public sector, then GIO is perfect.
Okay. Perfect, Mari. Next question from Giacomo is about the possibility to have a work path in the European Union. So what about that?
It is possible. It is and it is feasible. It is difficult, of course. Like, selection are very hard. Like, there are a lot of students that try each year to follow like to trying to get like an EU-based internship. I know several colleagues that are working in the European Commission. So I would say that it's possible, and there are a lot of students that do it, but at the same time, it is very difficult to get an internship there.
Okay, last question from Gleb, who is asking how practical is GIO? You already said something about the group work in the first part of our conversation, but if you want to go more in depth about that.
Okay, well, I guess that it is practical enough. I mean, for what I have been experiencing so far, it is practical in the sense that you will receive like a lot of information in the face-to-face lectures, but then you will apply everything through the group work. For example, like in the first semester, we had strategy and public management, which is something that it's full of like theoretical stuff and a lot of notions and definition that you have to know. But then you have like a big part that it's based on like conducting a strategic project, a real project in the field. So you will have you will apply everything that you have learned in the group project. And the same thing has happened for all the other courses. I was taking like strategy as an example, but I guess that the practical part is in the group work.
Okay, thank you, Mari. I think it was the last question. Guys, if you have any questions, write them down, or you can just contact, if you can just contact Mari. Here we can see her cell phone or the Instagram and Facebook profile. So I want really to thank you, Mari.
Thank you.
To have been with us.
Feel free to reach me in every moment.
Thank you so much, Mari.
Thank you.
Have a nice evening.
You too.
Okay, guys. Bye, Mari. We can switch to the last guest. That's Matteo Jugovac. Matteo, are you here?
Yes, Here we are. Good evening, everybody.
Okay, we have Jugo, so we can start with our last Master of Science. And Jugo, if you want to introduce yourself, give just a presentation of you.
Yes, hello, everybody. Can you hear me, first of all?
Yes, we can.
Okay, fantastic. Sorry, I had some problems with the microphone in a previous call. I am Matteo Giugovas. I'm in the last year of ESS, and I'm a student representative at Bocconi. So yes, it's possible to have a life outside S. It's difficult, but it's possible. So
okay.
We can get started with Ulrika.
We have already answered to one of our questions, so thank you. And let's start with the first question. That's about the study plan. So we really want to know how ESS is organized. So which are the differences between the semesters or the second and the first year? And we want to know if it's a more theoretical or a more quantitative, as we really think, Master of Science.
Yes, I will be brief and try to be as clear as possible. S is a very quantitative course. And depending on how much you want to complicate your life, it can be relatively quantitative or very, very, very quantitative. And so the bottom line, the basic line, let's say, the baseline of the course is taking the three main courses, which are advanced mathematics, advanced statistics, and econometrics, which is it's not called advanced econometrics, but it's a very thorough and complete course of econometrics. This is the baseline, and if you wanna, then it depends very much on what you want to do afterwards. The important part is that the study plan of EFS is majors, but we have to pick up to 7 exams, different areas, and we are only constrained by the type of exam we have to choose. So we have to pick a number of exams from a certain group, a number from the other, but overall the study plan is very flexible. So you can have, let's say, you can go from the most basic courses, mainly in political science and not that quantitative stuff, to very, very, very quantitative and economically theoretical stuff like game theory, advanced micro, advanced microeconometrics, advanced macroeconometrics, etc., etc. So it depends also which career you want to pursue afterwards, whether you want to just go to work in finance or consultancy, or you want to do a PhD.
Okay,
but
thank you,
very
Matte.
customable.
Okay, thank you so much. So we can go to the second question that is quite related to what you already said, and that's about the teaching mode. So we want to know if you are going to have like frontal classes, or if there are some group projects, if you're going to use some programming software, and so on.
So again, and there are almost no group projects. I mean, the most relevant courses are without group projects, and sometimes also without midterms, because you have to be prepared on the whole program for the exam. It's the rationale. Of course, if you wanna, it depends. Then the core courses are without group projects. The least, let's say, the least important ones do have some projects in them. And then you can customize your choice, and then, I mean, again, you can pick game theory, which has no group project. You have just some assignments to do during the course, but then the grade of your final grade, the grade part of your final grade is given by the final exam with no midterms. Or you can take some more assignment-based courses, like, for example, the time series econometrics course. I mean, it depends on your choice. It really depends on your choice.
Okay, thank you. The next question is related on the possibility to personalize your study path, okay? So we want to know if there are some measures or tracks that you can choose during these 2 years.
Yes, as I've already said, you have 5 mandatory exams, which they are basically included in the study plan, and then you can choose your electives And that's great because you just have to pick some exams from the general economics part, some exams from the applied economics part, and some of the exams from the more general or from any kind of exams like the optionals exams, the electives exams you had most of you had in the undergrad. And then you can also take PhD courses if you are interested in that type of career, let's say. So it's very, very customizable, as I already said.
Okay, so next question is about the possibility to apply for an exchange or a double degree program. And we already know that this possibility is given to all students from every Master of Science. But in this case, from you, we would like to know if is suggested for a ESS student, if there are some double degree possibilities or some reserved slots for the exchange program.
Yes, there are some specific double degree programs with Moscow, with the University of Louvain, and with many other universities. Again, the point is what you want to do. If you want to do in order to try to pursue an academic career or a research career, I strongly suggest you not to take any kind of international mobility or exchange, because that's not suggested, because you have to stay in contact with the faculty. If, on the other hand, you just are doing ESS because you want to have some strong quantitative basis, but you aren't really interested in the academic side or in the research side of ESS, feel free. I think it's strongly suggested. I would strongly suggest to take an international experience, because would give you some relief from ESS, and I think an exchange program would be really advisable. Then, if you, of course, for this and for any other kind of issue, I'm going pretty fast because it's late in the night. Everybody has to go to dinner. But if you have any question, interrupt me or contact me, of course, to the number, because I know many people have very specific questions. So just, I didn't say it before, but feel free to interrupt me in any case and in any moment, and contact me for more precise questions, of course.
Okay, thank you, Giugo. So the next question, I think you have already anticipated something in the other ones, but is about the work possibilities. So what generally a ESS graduated does after the degree in Bocconi?
Yes, so more or less 1/3 of the we had a course committee last day, and we talked exactly about this. More or less 1/3 of the people graduating from ESS then pursued their career in academia, so doing a PhD, which is let's say the most natural continuation of the course. But there is the vast majority, indeed, which does not do a PhD afterwards, but they go either to work in consultancy, usually, which is very common after ESS, usually in some data analytics firms, or in data analytics driven functions or divisions of firms, or in banking, which is also pretty common, usually in corporate, but also some investment banking maybe, but usually in corporate. I mean, usually there's not one unique pattern for those coming out from ESS. What I would really say is that the vast majority of ESS graduates do not work in Italy. There's really few spots in Italian job market for us, so most of us go abroad. London is a very common place where people graduating from ESS go, but also Frankfurt and of course the US in many cases, but not Italy.
Okay, thank you, Giugo. Next question is about the strengths and the weaknesses you can identify in your course, also in terms of personal experience, organization, and other things that you can also know as a course representative,
So, yes, that's a good question. The most relevant strength of this course is that it really prepares you for everything. I mean, if you can survive, I mean, I came from BF, econ, and I mean, I thought I was not well prepared, but at least prepared, and I wasn't indeed. And most of people who do not come from best or class feel this way, and you have to make up for it, and it's really challenging, but it really teaches you a lot, and more than the theoretical reasoning concerning math stats that you're given, you really learn to deal with data. You really learn to understand how to solve a problem and how to start from data, frame a research question or a business question, and from data take advantage from the weaknesses and the strengths of data, and prepare a good business case, a good investment prospect, or a good draft paper for a client. So whatever kind of career you want to pursue, it really gives you a strong quantitative preparation, and which I can say it's difficultly offered, it's hardly offered by another Bocconi course, especially if you take the most quantitative courses. On the other hand, this comes with a drawback, of course, no free lunch in economics, especially in ESS, and you have the problem that you really study a lot. There's a lot of study is required, and I mean, what I feel, I mean, in the undergrad, what I felt was that, and what I experienced for a lot of people I knew, is that if you study, the production function of a grade is almost linear. No, you study a lot, and you get a pretty high wage. In ESS, in some exams is like that, in others it's not that way, and there are other things that matter, like your quantitative intuition, your talent, your background, etc. And its last point is a bit a stressful course. So it's a different stress from finance and IM, but you always felt you are not enough prepared, which is very good, because I mean, out there you are not enough prepared when it comes to work or to real life, but for exams it's a bit tough. But I mean, I would I strongly suggest it, and I think this is one of the last questions, so I can make a bit also of a thing, which is I would really suggest it to people who are very talented for math. So if you're good at math, and if you like it, do ESS without any issue, and you will enjoy it, and it will open your mind. And if you are very motivated concerning the subject of ESS, concerning research, public policy, anything that should be your career in life, and so you're very motivated, do ESS, because there's no such course in Bocconi which prepares you so well for the future and for the career, for that type of career. Because policymaking today is, and in the future, will be completely data driven. You won't have no more need for a political scientist, or I mean, there will be much less need for that.
Okay, thank you so much, Giugo. Guys, feel free to write down any question for Matte, and in the meanwhile, I want to ask you our last question, Giugo, that if you can like describe your course with a name or an adjective, what would you say?
I would say dedication.
Okay,
because
dedication.
And I think I don't need to explain it, because I've said you can understand why. But dedication is the word for sure.
Okay, thank you so much, Giugo. We have a question in the chat from Gleb. He's asking.
Yes,
Yeah, let's go.
How suitable is it for a career in development like World Bank or IMF? I guess that it's the only way possible to get there. I mean, it's the only way possible because you cannot get to international institutions without a PhD. I mean, you can get to a satisfactory position with a good prospective career in international organizations without a PhD. You can be an intern, of course. You can also be a junior associate, but there it stops. Then you need to have a PhD to escalate further. And so I would say that it's really highly recommended to have to perform a course like ESS or similar, and not less quantitative than ESS, because the difference is the ability is being good with math, with stats, with econometrics, and not being well in sort of good in math, good in law, good in political science. You have to be very good in some specific topic, and usually economists are the most required. I hope it was clear, Gleb. I was clear, sorry, Gleb.
Che bello.
Che bello.
Okay, thank you so much, Diogo. Guys, if you have any other questions, please feel free to ask us. In the meanwhile, I want to thank you all of our guests, and also Antonino and Ashraf for the organization. And I want to remind you that you can find the recording of this event and also of the 2 days ago event on our website, Villa Bocconi website, with also all the other materials that can be useful to make a good choice for the application. If there are not other questions for Diogo, okay, another one from Matteo.
Oh, data science. Oh, is it okay, Matteo Marti? Okay. That's a very good question, Matteo. Thank you that you've asked it. And we are introducing a lot of statistical tools, and they are ready. And if you pick the right courses like advanced microeconometrics, but also in the pure econometrics course, you will deal with the main statistical tools you need in economics, in economic research. You will use a lot data, which is the basics. You can also use Python for some courses and R. So let me think. I don't remember for which course, but I'm pretty sure you are also asked to use MATLAB in some courses. That's not so common, but I mean, data is the baseline, and you'll use it in at least 2 or 3 courses. And then R in some courses, just to go with less diffuse and less widespread. And then there are some courses where you do web scraping with Python and stuff like that with Python. So for an economist, a young economist is more than enough as statistical tools, because then you can learn them. If you have strong theoretical basis, is pretty theoretical. I mean, math, statistical, and econometrics basis is pretty easy to use a software, because you know what you're doing and you don't have to look for it at any time. I hope I've been clear.
Another question,
Prego. Do you think it's a suitable course if you come from a management course? Dario, that's a good question. I would say no in general, but if you are very good in math or very motivated, it's your choice. I mean, then it depends on how much you like sufferance, because you have a bit of if you come from CLM or BM, you have a bit of a gap to bridge, let's say. So that's a bit the issue. If you like, you have just to be prepared to study a lot during the first semester, a lot, because you don't have enough basis for math. You don't have enough basis for stats and econometrics. I think you only saw matrices in your first year, and in just a little bit in math 1, and that's also a pretty important topic in econometrics, is the basics. So I mean, there's a lot of stuff which is taken for granted. So if you're really motivated, the ideal would be to, this is difficult, the idea would be to, if you come from BM or CLM, to start studying in advance, just a little bit. Because I mean, if you want to perform well, if you just need 18 and pass, but I don't, if you are here at 2020 at night, I don't think you are that type of guys. If you want to perform well, you have to study a lot.
Okay, thank you.
You're welcome, Dario. For any kind of other issue, sorry, Ludo, please contact me. Really, it's very important that you make an informed choice when you choose ESS. And I also can explain you in Italian, maybe, which is easier also for me to explain to you but please do ask me, because it's really important.
Okay. Thank you, guys. Again, feel free to contact all our guests. They are really open to your questions and ready to help you in this choice. And thank you, Juga. Thank you, all of you guys. Let's stay with us until this time. So have a nice evening. And again, you can find the recording on our website. See you on our other events. Bye. Bye. Thank you.
Bye-bye.